Cheers, guys.
Cheers, fellas. Alex, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. How are you?
Oh, man, I remember about 2 years ago, you hopped in the Discord, and you had this passion behind you about gambling.
Yeah, man.
That I was like, at first I was like, okay, this guy, like, you know, he just quit his job. Like, he might be going through a midlife crisis, you know, what's going on? And then, but I can, like, the more you kept talking about it, I was like, oh, no, this guy, like, he has a plan. Like, he is dialed in. Like, he's serious about this shit. And you quit a job.
Well, I remember like a month before that, you were like, dude, I've started like learning.
doing it.
I started learning to count cards, and I think I can quit my job and do this shit.
Yeah.
And we were like, dude,
that's not a risk,
and Sean goes, you gonna end up like fucking casino with your head in a vice.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's not really like that. And I was like, huh, okay. I mean,
I don't know. I think I thought at the time, like, you were naive to the point of like you were just like getting into it, so you didn't really know how deep you could get. I was like, man, I'm sure it goes much deeper than that.
Yeah.
But
then a few weeks go by, and he's like, says it again. He's like, I'm really fucking thinking about it. He's like, I got this shit figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was 2 weeks after that, and that's when he was like, I just quit my job.
Yeah.
I'm doing this shit.
Yeah, dude, I was on the fence for a long time, man. It really took a toll on my mental because I was working a job I didn't like, and I got paid very well at that job. And again, the retirement, the pension, you know, that's free money, right? When you get a pension, you just put in time and they give you the money back. 401k, they match it. You know, I had all this, what everyone thinks is the dream, because I started that job when I was 23. So that means retirement is 53 or 55, you know, so everybody's like, exactly. Everyone's like, man, you got it figured out. Yeah. Look at you. You got in here at a good job, you know, and, you know, I was making $70 a year. So $70,000 a year for a guy my age was phenomenal. I thought I was loaded, bro. I was like, look at me, you know, going out, buying, you know, going out to dinners, you know, $100 dinner. I was like, that ain't nothing, you know. Yeah. I was so excited. But, you know, as I went on with that job, I have really always known that I didn't want to work a normal job. And that normal just mean that 9 to 5.
I can relate to that.
I knew that.
Man. Hence the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
And when you know, and of course, like what I found is very niche in a way, and it's very not normal, quote. But it's working nonetheless. I'm excited about it. I'm happy about it. Still passionate about it 2 years later. And when I do it, it's fun. Like I go out and I have fun. I make money, and then I go home and I enjoy my home life. And it's something that I owe so much to the people I've met through it and everything.
So how did you get into it?
YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I watched, I'm sure many people have seen it, the movie 21 came out in 2008.
With
21.
With fucking
the movie.
The guy from Usual Suspects.
Kevin Spacey?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey's in it, yeah.
That's a good movie.
So I think it was 2008, but it might have been, I think it was,
it was like 10-ish.
Dude, when I watched it, I knew I was too young to count cards. I think I was 14. That's the reason I think it was 2008.
Is it as complicated as they make it seem?
No, that's the thing about it is in the movie it makes it seem so complicated. And you have to, like, you know, in the movie I think he says something. I've watched that movie like 20 times, but
I actually watched it a couple months ago.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you know, only the really gifted can do it. It's not that serious because there's a set of rules, and if you can follow rules and you can go home and you can train, you can become a card counter. There is nothing that's special about your brain. You're not remembering every card that comes out of the deck. It's ridiculous, you know. But a lot of what they have is true there. The one thing that's not true, and the one thing that's hilarious there, is the only time he loses is when he's emotional about his breakup with his friends. That's not true. You can do everything right and still lose, which is the term variance, which is positive and negative variance. And with losses, that's where the mental you have to have the mental strength to be able to understand.
Continue the process.
I'm doing everything right, but this is
it.
just the way
It'll
it goes.
come.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because you was telling me, or telling us off air before we got started, that you had a 100 and some hours of straight losing.
187 hours. Or was it
178?
I was thinking of the movie.
Yeah, so 178 hours of losing, and to have the mental capacity to be able to sit there and say, I'm still doing what's right. Because what I got tested out by pros, which means people who have been doing this professionally 5+ years, they'll do what they call a test out, which means they will take you into a casino and stand behind you. And what you're doing is you're playing already a negative game, which means you're not there to make money. You're there to make sure your skills are on par. Sure. What they'll do is pretty essentially stand behind you, and they'll say, hey, you know, increase the bet per true count. If you mess up, they'll just hit you. And it looks, of course, it looks weird to the casino, but they don't care because you're already playing. The game you choose to do a test out is designed for you not to win.
Okay.
And
so
one of
they
the,
don't care 'cause
exactly.
you don't win.
And one of those games is 6-5 blackjack. You cannot beat a 6-5 blackjack unless you have pretty much an unlimited spread, which the casino limits because they have a max.
That's smart.
bet.
Yeah. The casinos fucking own their shit. Like they
Yeah.
have it down to a
Oh,
science.
that's yeah.
Do you think that like when they see people doing that they're onto it? Like, okay, mark this guy down. So when next time he comes in here, we already have eyes on him.
I would say this: some places are smarter than others.
Okay.
And down south, they're not so smart.
Welcome to the casino.
Yeah, like because the thing is the reason
Christ.
like casinos actually encourage people to go count cards. They encourage you to go
Because
learn.
they still think that their science is better than yours.
Not only that, but they know that most people do not have the mental fortitude to sit there and be able to make the smart decisions over and over and over and the right decisions over and over and over. Like 16 versus 10, right? Mm-hmm. So 16 versus 10 is one of those hands that everyone has always heard of. Either you stand or you hit, but you got to do the same thing over and over.
Now, what's 16 versus 10? Because I'm not a card guy.
Okay, so blackjack, right? They deal out the cards face up to you. So,
Right.
so if I'm the dealer, I would deal face up cards to you guys, and then I would have a face down card, and then I would deal your second card,
And that'll be face up.
and then the dealer's cards face up.
Okay.
So a 16 versus a 10 means I have a jack, queen, king, 10 showing, and you have a 16, 10 and a 6, whatever. 7 and a 9. Doesn't matter. 16. And people will always say you got to hit or you got to stand, and you got to do it every time. That's not true. With counting cards, if you have a positive count, you stand on it. If you have a negative count, you hit on it. And that's actually one of the ways to get found out very quick because they're going to see you switching up your decisions.
So if you have like a
multiple
2, like if you have like a 2, obviously that's going to be a negative count, so you're going to hit. And if you have like a how does that work?
Oh yeah. Okay, so the way counting cards works, I'll just play it out.
Well,
like
obviously
this.
you're going to 21. You're playing blackjack.
Yeah. Okay. So the
And,
object is 21, and what you are doing is you are counting cards, and you have essential like cards that mean certain things. So 2 through 6 is +1.
Okay.
That's actually good for you. You want the 2s through 6s
Okay.
getting out of that deck
Okay.
because you want the stiff 20s, the 21s, and you want the dealer to bust when they have to hit. See, the rules in a casino are very important for the game selection. So that's the reason that you go there and you scout these games out. You don't just walk into any casino and be like, I can play blackjack and start winning money.
Right.
You take time and you have to scout and you have to sit there and you have to make sure you have these mental notes and you have to write down in your phone, like, what rules is this game? What rules is
This
this?
feels like a heist.
It does.
It's like
This
well
is-
prepared.
Dude, it
Like,
does. Because you walk in.
It's like me and my boys are going to go heist
Dude,
and steal this money from
it
these
really
people.
is.
We're
You
robbing
walk-
these fools.
You walk the floor and you are truly making notes of like these blackjack conditions and games. So when you finally find a good game, which there's good games in pretty much every casino, you just have to find them. But 2 through 6 is +1. That's good for you. You want those out of the deck.
Okay.
7 through 9 is neutral. I don't even see those. Those are 0. They have no count, nothing. For high-low count, there is high op 2 and things like that are way more like in detail where you can literally pinpoint certain cards, but it's very hard on the mental. It's a very mental strain. And there's something to be said about being able to sit there and play high-low, which is the count I use, and be able to play for a 10-hour session and not be mentally fatigued, rather than high op 2, which you could learn, but you'll be mentally fatigued in an hour because you're keeping track of everything.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Again, 2 through 6, so I don't get carried away. 2 through 6 is +1. It's good for you. 7, 8, 9 does not matter. And then 10 through ace is -1. That's bad for you. You don't want those out.
Okay.
And so the way card counting works is you start with a minimum bet. You whatever the minimum may be, $25, $50,
Whatever it is,
$5,
enter in or
whatever
whatever.
it is.
Yeah.
And the way you beat the game is spreading your bet, which means you're going from a minimum bet, slowly upping your bet as the count gets better for you. And then when the count gets worse for you, decreasing your bet.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's how you get caught. But you have to do it. There is no, what if I just sit here and count cards and bet $25 a hand? I'm going to get... It doesn't work. You have to change your bet. That's the only thing that gives us an advantage, which is the only thing that gets us caught as well.
So when you lose, you're losing less money. When you win, you're winning less money.
Bingo.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're
Exactly.
playing it based off your odds.
Yeah, and the rules of the game, it literally says it on the table. Blackjack, first of all, you never play anything other than 3 to 2. Blackjack 3 to 2 pays more, which means a $50 bet will pay $75. Blackjack.
Okay.
If you play a 6 to 5, a $50 blackjack will only pays like on 6 to 5. It's like what is that? It's like $55. So you're losing $20 for that blackjack. And so 3-2 is favorable for you because you want the more money. You don't care.
Sense.
Yeah. So another thing is when the count is getting high and you start betting more, that is how the casino spots you. But there is nothing you can do to not do that and make money. Because the whole point is going to make money. The whole point's not to play blackjack. I don't go in there looking to play blackjack. That's not my thing. My thing is to go in there and make money. Because it's a job. It's something that I do for a living. So I'm going in there to make my living and then go home.
What was the reaction from your loved ones when you said, "I'm quitting my, job where you're making good money"?
That's good money. Yeah.
Good money.
Still
dude.
to this day, it's good
Still
money.
Good
It was
money.
like what, 4 years ago when I started that job. And to be fair, I worked at another place. I was making $35,000 a year. So I went from 35,000 to 70 within a month span.
You got married. You had a house. Like you were starting to like develop like that traditional family lifestyle.
Yeah.
That you can see yourself starting to become that.
I didn't get married. But
Oh,
I
you
did
didn't
get the
get
house. No,
married?
not married.
Okay,
not
never
married.
mind. For
Not
some
yet.
reason, I
Not
thought
yet.
you got married.
No, but
Dang.
I did get the house. I bought the house. I started essentially getting into that system, that just cultural
Same
thing
old
we
thing.
have.
Marriage
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. That cultural thing that we have, which is you either
get
go to
content.
school or you go to work, and then you work that job for 30 years.
And then you die.
You get the house, you get the car, you get the boat. And that's how all these jobs say the golden handcuffs got you, because you're buying all this shit when in reality, you might not be happy, but you're going to keep doing it because it makes everyone else happy. And then people even lie to themselves and say, "Oh, I'm happy because I make this much money."
That's
But
bullshit.
yeah, dude, it really is. Like, honestly,
I realized when I bought this. Go ahead.
That's something I've been like kind of. I don't know if I say it on the podcast much, but I have such a weird thing about like whenever I see super intelligent people and
Yeah.
they're working like such a place where anybody can just about work. Like my job, I'm in maintenance, and there's some guys that are tremendous, like ridiculously way smarter.
Oh,
than
yeah,
I
I've
am
met some
in
of
my
those
field.
dudes, yeah.
Like they're insanely smart compared to me, and they work in the same job I do. And it's like there's no way you can be content with that.
Yeah.
Like you've got to like know that you have a brain that can handle significantly more, make way more money, and be. Like, how do you like just be content with that?
Yeah,
That's my brain.
The true thing is, I think it's just that people get. It's just culture. Like what we have grown up to believe in our life is that we either need school or we need a trade, and we have to do that trade or work, whatever it is, for 30 years. You have to put your time in, and it's that is just ingrained in our brains. Trust me, it's ingrained in mine until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I was gung ho. Like I loved, like when I first started the job. Again, went from 35 to 70. It was a huge fucking pay raise, and I was like, holy shit,
I made it. I'm fine. I can live
I bought a
comfortably.
house. Yeah, I got a house built. I was like, never in my life. I grew up in a trailer park.
Yeah.
Never
right.
in my life could I have thought that I would have enough money to build a house.
Build a house. Yeah.
Yeah, got the house built. Got the subdivision. Gotten all this stuff, and I was like, now what? Yeah, dude, exactly. And I had the money, and again, it was a good living for me because I don't have a bunch of debt. Thankfully, I was pretty smart with that. But when it came to the house, I was like, okay, well, I have the house. My car's paid off. Everything's paid off. Like, what do I need money for? It was kind of like what like. I'm not happy. Like, I'm not any happier than I was a couple of years ago. But those things are almost distractions. Getting the house, getting the car, getting this stuff.
They really are distractions.
They are, because it distracts you from what's going on in your life, and it brings happiness for a bit. And I don't want to get it twisted. Money has changed my life because it changed my life to give me the freedom to be able to do things like I do now and be able to pursue a career that is predominantly not normal, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, money is like not a big thing. And I always used to hear rich people say that. I used to always hear billionaires and millionaires say, don't chase money.
Well, it's
You'll
easy
be
for you to say that.
Exactly.
It
That's
is,
what
though.
I used to say. That is exactly what I used to say.
But it's true. It is true. It is easy for someone who has a lot of money to say, I don't. Because I even find myself saying that now. I'm like, and it's like the most well off I've ever been. And I did realize once I got this house, I was like, I moved from an apartment to the house I'm in now. And I'm like, oh, I could be happy in a trailer.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
I was like, I could really be happy on a trailer. Like this, I'm very proud and happy and thankful to be here. But happiness just doesn't come with like a big house
It
or
doesn't.
a big boat or whatever.
How old are you?
29.
29.
Just turned 29 in April. Yep.
Well, happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I felt the same way, man. It once I got that house, it was a Band-Aid on a problem I had to figure out for myself. And I've tried so many things, and I can get into it in a bit when we talk about the origin of how literally I got started. But I have tried many things to work for myself, many different things, many different revenues of income that I tried to create. What? So when I very first got started in this, I mean, it was very early on. And there was a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk. And I don't know if you guys know Gary V. He's like a motivational guy who also like does a bunch of technology businesses and stuff like that. Okay. And pretty much his origin story, to cut it short, was like he was a kid who worked in his father's wine store. And then he took his wine store online when the internet first started. He's a Russian. He's an immigrant. And he pretty much made his father's wine store, just incredible. And then he didn't get anything for it. His dad pretty much said, well, you don't get, you're not getting anything of it. This is my business. And so he said, okay, I'll go start my own stuff. And he started his own stuff and all that. And he created a challenge in 2017 called the 2017 Flip Challenge. Okay. And it's one of the first things I ever heard about it. And I was like, what is a flip challenge? And I started looking, I started listening, and I just, I got obsessed. Yeah. I was like, because he was saying like, go, and this is still to this day, if anybody hears this and wants more money, I will be willing to bet an infinite amount of money. If you want more money and you're not happy with how much money you make, every Saturday and Sunday, possibly Friday, and during the week, go to any thrift store, go to yard sales, go to the jockey lot, go anywhere you want to, download the eBay app, download the Amazon app, go to these places, look at what they are selling. A lot of yard sales are getting rid of junk. They're not there to make money. They're not there to like try to scam you and like get you to pay overpriced. They're trying to throw their shit away. Yeah, dude, stuffed animals like with Looney Tune tags on them, selling for 25 cents. Bro, look that shit up on eBay, $14. So what we were doing and what I was doing, I found this and I was like, bro, there's no way like this shit works. And I remember that first time I ever brought it up to like Heidi, she was like, that shit ain't gonna work. If you could do it, everybody would do it, right?
People are lazy as fuck.
People are lazy as shit. They get content. They don't care about that kind of stuff.
I've been wondering why, like, everything's been. We all know like the prices of everything are like 30% increase. Like they're super high right now. But the new, like this new age, like the younger generation is starting to get into little things, little hustles like that. Yeah. Little like, Uber Eats and like little side hustles like that.
Like Caden, he's
cryptocurrency.
He'll find shoes. He'll find shoes out of the trash can and take them out and clean them up and make them and sell them.
Yeah.
So many little side hustles, and that's why I think a lot of people are like saying, "Fuck McDonald's,
dude."
And like, why do I want to go make that kind of money when I can just hustle a little harder, and not be told what to do, and do it at my own pace?
Yeah, you can make a full-time living doing that. So when I found it in 2017. It was really what shifted my mind of that I needed a job. And I remember doing it. And I did it for the summer. And I made $6,000 extra for the summer. And while that's not a ton of money for like 3 months, it was like, holy fuck.
That's a lot of money for some people.
In a sense of like, because I still work full time.
Yeah, for summer. That's a good little vacation over the summer.
I just mean not something where you'd be like, I'm quitting my job, go
right,
full time.
Sure,
yeah, but it was extra money. And I was like, no way I actually did this. Like, this actually works. I got Heidi on board, bro. She started doing it with me. Wow. Do you remember the Coke bottle? This is my biggest score ever. Do you remember the Coke bottles? 2018, I believe it was. Maybe 2019, I can't remember. Clemson won.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember that. That was 2019.
Bro, I went to every fucking Bilo, Ingles, Walmart, and I bought out as many 6-pack Cokes as I could. I knew they were going to go up because they only made a certain amount.
So I bought all of them.
Bro, I bought them all for $4.99.
Dude, I need that gene, man. I need that. I need that hustle.
He instilled it in my mind. It was all $4.99.
I'm too traditional.
I'm not even exaggerating. Every single one of those went for over $30 on eBay. So my markup was fucking crazy. And I was in my room. Still, you can ask Steven. Like, we were roommates still. I had bubble wrap, boxes, everything in my bedroom. No shit.
How many times they give you a hard time about it?
Oh, dude. Of course, dude. When you do anything different, you're gonna get a hard time.
And you sold all them bitches for $31.
Dude, I was making a crazy markup, and they were covering
$27 or $25.
And they were covering shipping too. So it was a full on profit. Dude. Every single Coke bottle, I was wrapping, and
it's like 600% profit.
Yeah, and you get so many.
That's crazy.
you get reviews and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I would make sure that I packaged their stuff so good to where it wouldn't break. I would roll up every single bottle by hand and
Oh, they
microwave
give you a
wrap.
great review.
And they, I would always do. I had like 51 reviews, like 5-star reviews, because I was real communicative with them.
solid.
That's good.
Yeah, and I got the printer, I got the tape. I didn't have like a Zebra, which is like the printer where you actually have sticky. Like the actual sticky thing.
I can make
was
so much
doing
more
it,
money.
dude. I know
just
you
leaving
have
money
the
out there,
easier
dude.
shit, but like for me, I had the printer, the paper. I was trimming it with scissors, taping it with tape. I mean, this is like full on. Like I needed fucking money. I chased money my whole life until 2 years ago. My whole life was all about money. Because we grew up so poor, me and my brother both. So
I relate.
yeah, it was like
Yeah, me and
all
my
I
brother
cared.
both.
Yeah, all I cared about was money, man.
Yeah.
So-
damn. So
Yeah.
So what was like your mom, your dad, like what were they saying about it?
Oh man, so when you talking about when I got ready to quit for the gambling?
Yes.
Okay, so my mom actually cried on the phone. I remember I told her.
Midlife
And,
crisis.
dude. It was full on like
he's going through it.
Yeah,
He's
you don't know what you're doing. You have a good job. Like stay here. And I get it. And I don't resent anyone. And it's like it almost made me have a sense of humility for them because it's not their fault that they're conditioned that way. It's not their. It's not.
Exactly.
We're all
Man,
parts of our
I
culture.
have noticed
They were just
that
trying to look out for
with
you.
so many things lately.
Mm-hmm.
Of like how people always dismiss what they don't understand. I've talked about it on the podcast before. It's
Yeah.
like as soon as like you hear gambler, you want to label it and box it into
course.
this little box and
Like addict.
and then
Yeah,
like
like-
they just take him and shove him in that box of
Yeah.
like gambling bad, put him in there.
Dude, I still get it. I've been doing this 2 years. I'm doing really good. I don't post on social media much. I don't really, because I don't care. I don't care what anyone thinks about me.
course.
I could give two shits if somebody thinks I'm an addict. I'm living my life. I'm happy. My friends are happy. My family is now happy.
Right.
but
Right.
at the time, yeah, it was a full. Now, my dad, I will give him credit. My dad literally sat there and goes, "Well, you know what you're doing. I've been taking care of myself since I was 18 years old.
You a grown man.
Yeah,
Dude, you
I
got
moved
this.
out at 18. Got my
Fuck
own
yeah.
apartment.
It really
Yeah.
hit before we started. He goes, "Yeah, I've been thinking about giving back to some charities. That's some rich people
Yeah,
shit."
yeah. Dude, it's like I'm finding hard to almost feel fulfilled in a way, and it's it's probably just like the mental clarity I have now. The money doesn't do anything for me, and it's awesome. And people think I don't like money. I fucking love money. It changed my life.
Right.
But what I mean is that you don't have that sense of being filled up with something other than money, and so that's the reason that I work a lot less than I used to.
So what's your average week like then?
As far as work goes?
Sure.
Just life in general.
Life in general. I mean, it's pretty fucking good. I can't lie. I mean, so pretty much. I guess we'll start with Monday. Monday through Thursday, I'm pretty much every day wake up, go to the gym. That's what I would do first, and I do intermittent fasting. I'm trying to get my health in order because I ain't gonna lie, bro. When I started making more money, I had more money to eat out. Because before this, I didn't have the money to eat out every day. You know what I mean? I couldn't do a DoorDash. You know what the fuck is that? You know that's expensive. That's
Right.
rich people shit. Being able to DoorDash some food and give them a big tip. So I couldn't do all that. So I was going to the grocery store, $50 budget. You know what I mean? $50 for the week, meal prep and everything. Well, when I started making more money and stuff, I started getting lazy. Yeah, dude, I started getting lazy, dude.
Get that Chili's and the Applebee's.
Big time, man. I started getting so lazy and I gained a bunch of weight because, I'm sure you guys remember, I used to be like...
Are you shredded? Yeah.
Yeah, 180 pounds. And I was
you're doing great.
so motivated. Then I just fell into this life. And
You'll be back.
with all the traveling and stuff. Man, dude, I got up to a very unhealthy weight. And I remember me and Chris got done with a trip in Oklahoma. I came home and weighed myself and I was like, okay, I got to change. And I'm down about 33 pounds since then.
Nice. Yeah.
So
when I saw you, I was like, it looks like you lost some weight.
that's
Yeah.
what I thought, too.
Intermittent fasting has been always a big part of my life. It's how I lost weight the first time because I was a fat kid. I was a fat in high school.
right.
So doing all that stuff, but yeah, with having that money, you really do get lazy. But Monday through Thursday is every day. Wake up, go to the gym. I'll come home, spend a lot of time with my dog. I love my dog. I got a dog named Mayor, golden retriever. He's almost 2.
Awesome, man.
He's like my buddy, man.
Awesome.
So I spend a lot of time with him, and then I really just do whatever for the day. I do a lot of research, like online and stuff, like new casino openings, anything to do with like places that could be good. Like I'm subscribed to a certain website that will allow you to look at conditions for blackjack, and that's a big help for me as well. And I would just get on there and find these places, and a lot of times I'm just chilling, man, hanging out. We'll play games. Me, Steven, and Chris will all get on, and Dale, Raymond. I don't know if you know him.
I don't think I know Raymond.
Dale Kraft we all call him Dale. He's Steven's cousin.
Okay, I
But,
might know him.
Yeah, we all play games, man, and it's literally just living like a young guy. I mean, like a young kid. I mean, honestly. And then on Friday and Saturday, I normally go to work. I'll go to work for.
And that's going like Harris Cherokee.
Yeah, I'll do stuff local. I'll go to local places, and then I'll do, say, a couple hours sometimes, but sometimes it's like 8 hours. It just depends. It really depends on the day. It depends on what's there, because there's so much nuances that go into it that pretty much like set me up for a day there, and there's certain things that can happen to where I'm there a lot longer than others.
So do you go in there with like what's your set goal? Is it like a number goal, like for how much money you want to make, or?
It used to be. It used to be. So now that I've been doing it so long, I've really gotten out of the monetary goal to it.
It's because you won so much.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have bills to pay. Yeah, now. You're comfortable.
Yeah,
now.
In a sense, like all I have is a mortgage. Yeah. Bro, I could fucking go flip stuff on eBay and pick up my mortgage. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about money. Like I don't want to say it, like I'm not sitting here and I don't have $1 billion or anything. Yeah. But I'm not worried about money in a sense to where if something goes wrong, I will be okay. If this doesn't work anymore, let's say every casino goes to CSM, which is continuous shuffle machine, can't count that. Let's say they all go there. I have backup plans. I'm not some naive person to think all my eggs in one basket. So I have a lot of setups to where, like, if anything goes wrong, I'll be okay for quite some time, and I'll figure out something else. But I will say this here, and I hope that people come back years later and hear this. I will never work a job again ever in my life.
Well, the cheers of that shit.
Cheers,
fucking
brother.
cheers,
Ever.
man. That is awesome.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm very interested.
Yeah, we're both listening because you see us. I mean, I am in the martial arts. I have a t-shirt business.
Yeah.
We're starting a podcast. Like, we're also chasing those avenues. So we get it. We hustle.
Yes.
We understand exactly where you're coming
and
from.
I knew the
with all these
passion when I heard it from you, and you was like, yeah, everybody kind of was like looking down on.
They wrote him off, but he
they
ain't right back.
They wrote him off, but you ain't right back.
Dude, I remember I was on the dock of the warehouse. I used to be a delivery driver for a company, kind of a vendor. I was a vendor.
Right.
So let's just put it that way. And I still remember getting on the phone with my brother, and he was across the world, because he's never
Shout
really
out
been
Brett,
home.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
That's a fucking
I love
awesome
my
dude.
brother.
We're gonna
dude.
have you on. We're gonna have you on.
It's my closest family member, and he lives the furthest away. You know what I mean? I'm closest to my brother more than my mom and dad.
So fucking cool, dude.
Nah,
I
he
love
is.
Brett. I remember moshing in the fucking mosh pit of Killswitch Engage.
Dude,
Yeah,
dude,
with
that was
Orangeville.
the,
I was like 17.
Yeah, that's like one of my
then.
favorite.
that was when Steven had his freaking knee ACL injury, so he couldn't get in there. Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was like one of my favorite like heavy metal moments is moshing in the pit with Brett Meece.
And I remember we just saw each other there like on a whim. We didn't even know each other was going.
Yeah.
Well, no, I messaged
okay, so
Brett,
you knew
and I
Brett
was
was
like,
going.
he was
Okay,
like,
okay.
yeah, I knew he was gonna be there.
Okay. Yeah,
He told
had,
me all you guys were coming.
okay.
So.
Yeah, he didn't tell us at all that you were going to be there. So when I saw you, I was like, "Oh, dude, no way!"
Yeah,
That's
it was
cool.
so much
First time I've
fun,
seen you
dude.
forever.
I know.
But yeah, man, there's no chance that I could go back. There just isn't. But but I was on the dock. I was on the dock, and my brother had called me, and I was discussing it with him. And my brother is, traditional. And
I relate to your brother a lot that way.
and I love him for it.
He's very stoic.
Yeah, he really gave me the alternative, and I just remember him
You
saying
can call
this.
him handsome.
Huh?
He's just got a very classic traditional way of.
Yeah.
He's got a very
He
good jawline.
presents his. Yeah, he
Yeah, that, like he was real passionate
like his
about
biceps.
yeah, dude. Yeah, he's
Very
still
broad-
big. He's
very
still
broad
big.
shoulders.
Yeah, he's still big as shit. But when I saw him in Germany, man, I was like, he ain't changed a bit. Same as
awesome.
always. But when I first talked to him, I remember him pretty much telling me like, dude, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. And he was, getting on to me.
Which
in
is
a
like,
sense.
when you hear that answer, it's like a blanket answer.
It is.
you
It
know?
is because and the reason he said it is he didn't understand.
Right.
And it's real easy to, again, like you said, label me as this guy's going through it. He's turned into a gambler, because, which I'll get into. But before I quit my job, I was essentially working my ass off to make this work and to prove to myself even that I could do it. And so there was many a nights where I got no sleep and still had to go to work. And but anyways, I just remember him getting on to me that day and telling me like, man, no, you don't want to do this. Like, this is a bad path. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. And I was like, well, that's the thing is it's not that easy. You have to train. You have to literally sit there. I trained on an app that essentially taught you how to do it for over 200 hours before I ever stepped foot in a casino.
That's smart.
At nighttime on my phone, because it was an app, I was sitting at home, laying in bed, before bed every night, training every night. I looked obsessed to Heidi. She was beside me like, what the fuck? What were you doing? And I was like, I know this is going to work.
Training.
I know this is going to work.
I'm training.
Yeah, and many
That's the
people.
ADHD, bro.
I love it.
I'm the same way, dude. When I go on deep
Because
dives
hyper
like that,
fixated on shit.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
I'm real, and I don't
I
take
played chess for 6 hours one day when I took a layoff at work. Came on, I was like, I just want to play chess, and I played it for 6 hours.
Yeah, and I don't believe that. I'm not a big pharmaceutical guy. I don't take medication.
I don't either.
So like Adderall, I don't want it. I want my brain to essentially kind of take me down these paths. I think
sure.
I don't want to suppress my way of
Creativity.
thinking.
Yeah.
Your imagination. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that can be kind of dangerous to people with like my personality. It's like everybody's calling you this and everybody's saying you got ADD and you can't focus on anything because you're trying 5 different things. Why is it a bad thing?
Just because I can doesn't mean it's bad.
Exactly.
I will say this though, I took a half of Adderall before we started. Which podcast was it? It was 2 of them.
I think it was Crabman.
It was Crabman and Glover, and I took a little half. It was like a little 5 milligram, and because I was like, I always hear like people with like ADHD and stuff when they get on Adderall, it kind of helps them think a little bit more clearly. And I will say that it was very helpful.
I've taken
it. It was like a very so you've taken Adderall before.
Yeah.
I only taken that's the only time I've ever taken was like 1 10 milligrams split between 2 podcasts. So I was like I could really think more clearly.
You sure
I was like, oh my god, these thoughts are coming to me like I want them to. You know,
dude. I used to take. So when I had my trips down south, I used to ask a friend if I could have one of hers, and she would give it to me, and I would cut it in half, essentially like you did.
Yeah.
It's like beads.
Yeah.
And so I did the same thing, and bro, like, I could work for fucking 14, 15 hours. Bro, I could sit there and just count cards and be like, no problem. I would never get tired. I wouldn't get hungry. I didn't have an appetite when I took it. Yeah, and I would sit there, and my work ethic and essentially like my work energy was off the charts. But I just don't want to be reliant.
I don't want to be dependent on
exactly.
that. Yeah, that's the thing. I wanted to experience just to see if I took that little bit before the podcast just to see would Bryant notice a difference?
Yeah.
How would my experience be during? Could I think more clearly? Could I help guide the conversation a little bit better?
Yeah.
But and it did help. But I'm kind of like you. I don't want to rely on that.
No, I don't want to rely on any drug.
I am.
Yep.
And I don't want to have a pill tell me what to do. Now I'm not saying that some people
don't need
it. I think there's plenty of people who could benefit off of it greatly. But I always I thought it was very interesting. I don't know. I know I won't get hooked on anything like that, but But it was helped me think a little bit more clearly.
And the thing about the pharmaceutical industry, which I don't want to go on a whole tangent about, but it's so easy to get prescribed anything you want. If you're feeling sad, it's easy to go get antidepressant. If you're feeling unfocused because you have school, they'll give you Adderall or Ritalin or whatever it's called, and it's so easy to get prescribed. Oh, I'm having trouble sleeping. Here's a sleep medication. I'm having trouble with anxiety. Here's a anxiety medication. And some doctors care, and I don't want to ever get it twisted that all medical is bad. It's a pharmaceutical industry, billion, maybe $1 trillion industry.
Yes, I mean we're one of 2 countries who can advertise pharmaceutical on commercials. I think it's us and is it Sweden or is it New Zealand? I can't remember who it is. There's only one other country who advertises pharmaceutical drugs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know what it is either. And I do want to point it out, and I just want to say for everyone, I get it. Some people do need this stuff. I do not want to slam. Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying
it's just not for me.
Exactly, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Well, just medicine pharmaceutical industry in general. Yeah. Because again, I was telling him you can go to the doctor now, and you could be like, oh, I'm feeling kind of sad. Well, here's an antidepressant, or I'm having trouble sleeping. Here's a sleep medication. My anxiety's bad. Here's an anxiety medicine.
Set up to
they
make
give
money.
You exactly.
Yeah.
It's all the money thing. Yep.
Yep.
Ozempic.
Ozempic. Like that whole thing. And there are people running through the fields and they're all happy. It's and then the side effects is diarrhea, can't see, contact your doctor, all this shit.
Death.
Yep. But if you take this, it'll solve this one little issue you have. And
then it creates more because your health's bad anyway. So you're
especially cognitive drugs, ones that actually affect your brain chemistry, ones that actually shut off
if you
or
come
open
off
up
those
things.
Yep. You see it with anything. If you come off a hair treatment, your hair starts falling out again, or you come off of whatever. But sorry, I'm gonna get sidetracked.
I know we're getting sidetracked by pharmaceutical.
I came back and I'm like, where the fuck did y'all?
Yeah,
how did y'all get here?
I don't know.
Pharmaceutical companies. What the hell?
So your family was like
not supportive.
Not supportive.
Let's just get
at
there.
all.
Yeah, it was call it what it is.
And obviously you love them, and it hurts.
Which I get that. I could get that for sure.
And you got to and I'm sure you do understand that, like, they just want the best for you.
Of course.
And when someone you love is coming at you with like, my profession is gambling. Mm-hmm. You want to be like, no,
you're delusional.
I would actually be worried. I would be worried if they didn't question
yes.
it, bro. If they were all
right.
like, "Fuck yeah, you got this," I'd be like, "Y'all care? Like, y'all even give a damn like what I'm talking about?"
Right.
But so it was in a sense nice to see that they cared. But I just knew I had this self-confidence. You have to have a huge self-confidence in yourself,
fucking believed in
but
yourself,
you also have to have the humility that you may be wrong. And with those two things, and if you can push for both of those, you can make something happen without having to step up. Like, because a lot of people think if you don't listen to them, oh, they don't respect me. But it's not that case.
It's not that case.
Yeah, I didn't listen to anybody because I had very, very few people to tell me to do it. Because in 20, let's see,
I respect it, dude. Because everybody he loved was against him, other than your girlfriend, right? She was.
Supportive. Oh, she was actually supportive.
Yeah, and that's how you told me. Like, that's how you knew you had the green light. Like,
because because I wasn't hurting anybody. The biggest thing is I'm not hurting anyone.
Yeah,
like what I do and what we do as a team now hurts no one.
Team now.
Except the casino, which fuck them. You know what I mean? They prey on people's addiction.
They go hand you alcohol and try to get you fucked up so they can destroy your bank account.
You go down south, free alcohol as long as you're gambling. You can't get free alcohol if you're standing there, but if you're gambling, they give you free alcohol.
They're set up to just destroy your bank
What do you think they are there for? They're not there to be your friend. They're giving you free shit to bring you back in there to take your money.
Make some bad decisions.
Yeah, right.
Please, take this.
Seriously.
That's
what they do, man. That's what they do. But yeah, like not having that support was hard, but in the sense I knew what I was doing was right. It's that self-confidence I had where I was like, and it wasn't like a fuck them, I'm going to prove them wrong, because I knew everybody that was giving me advice loved me. Some people didn't. Some people just didn't want me to do anything alternative. But for the most part, I had support in a sense of questioning what I was doing and making sure I knew what I was doing. And when, now that I'm coming up on 2 years, everyone's happy for me. No one questions me anymore. There's still people out there who will judge me and tell me, he's still in a debt. Oh, look, he's changing his friends. His friends are becoming addicts. Dude, I get it. I still get it all.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
That, like, whenever
they're balling.
Like, I'd honestly fucking forgot that you were doing this. Yeah. And then Chris goes, "Oh yeah, I just quit my job. I'm counting cards now." I'm like, "Holy fuck! Yeah. I forgot he's doing that, and now you're doing it." I was like,
"Oh, it's even more legitimate than I thought." It's not just he's good at it.
I was like, "Oh, it really must be easy if Chris's dumbass is doing it."
Yeah,
that stupid fuck.
Yeah, dude. And like,
shut up.
Like,
fuck you, Chris.
Yeah. Bringing Chris on, man, it was actually weird because we were never close. We were never close friends.
You and Chris, really?
Yeah, me and Chris were like.
Did y'all butt heads?
Not really. He did something like super fucked up in our earlier of our friendship, and honestly,
we'll talk off air.
Yeah. He did something super fucked up to me, and it wasn't like fucking my girl or nothing. So it wasn't nothing with that. But it was something he did to me that he did say sorry for, and he regretted doing it.
Sorry, bro.
But
sorry, bro. I'm just Chris Harris.
But yeah, dude, like pretty much, like bro, I fucking told you I was gonna do it. Pretty much, like so. Anyways,
he's a whole caricature.
He is, and he's a great fucking friend, dude. I have said this, and I'll say it. I'll say it forever. That if I was stranded and in the middle of nowhere, and I ran out of gas,
he would get you,
dude. And I had to call one person that would drop everything to come get me.
Accurate.
I could call Chris. He would come.
Man, I used to know his fucking cell phone number.
He might not be happy to come get you, but he would come.
But you son of a bitch, I'm on the fucking way.
Yeah, so we wasn't that close, but I just remember he was moving to go work a manager job.
In Charleston.
Yeah. He got a house and everything, and I just remember I was trying to convince him to come with me so many times. I was trying to convince all of my friends, bro, you gotta check. If you hate your job, bro, check this out. Like, you gotta do it. and it almost sounded like I was pushy because I was doing it, but it was because I was honestly, man, I was lonely. Going on these road trips by myself fucking sucked. Going on
so much more fun.
Going on 4 or 5 days by myself. And having company, dude, whether you win or you lose, like I had big nights by myself, making good money, making a lot of making
the look on his face.
I know,
so much money.
Try to be humble.
Yeah,
humble
dude,
brag.
I try my best.
Humble brag.
But I was making so much, but I had nobody to celebrate with. I was just in my hotel room, like, counting my money, and I was like,
in my hotel room counting my money,
crying, wiping it.
Dude, It was like Zombie Land when Woody puts his
$100 bills on his eyes.
Yeah, but it was true.
I was just in my hotel room counting my money. God,
dude,
damn.
I was lonely. I was like, man, this sucks, and I know my friends don't like their fucking jobs. Like I know they don't. Steven talked about forever quitting his job, forever. And I remember trying to get him on with my job and stuff, and I knew he didn't like it, and he wasn't making good money either. So I wanted to try to essentially like change the way they think to come over to this life.
I have to say that I think the way you grew up, and I don't know the way you grew up, but I think that there's something that me and Bryant connect with you and Brett on, and that's I felt like I was a normal kid. I mean, I realized early on when we were watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'm 6 years old, and it's 3 a.m. and they're grilling steaks in the backyard.
That and this 3 a.m.
This is not a normal family.
Yeah, man.
I go to school. I'm like, have you seen Child's Play?
No. My parents won't let me watch that.
Toy Story, Disney. What? I'm like, yeah. And so I realized early on that we didn't have a normal upbringing, but I'm very glad because, and I think it's probably the same for you guys because your brother is so unique in his own way, and obviously you're so unique in your own way that you kind of had I feel like there is a way where pressure kind of creates these beautiful moments for these people,
And so Brett's still living in Germany, right?
Yep, he's still stationed there. He'll be I think he said his contract's up in a year, and maybe he's going to be moving back towards home, I believe.
Brett's been to 61 countries, right?
Yeah, something like that. I'm pretty sure it's like 61 or 63.
Then you're a full-time gambler.
Yeah.
Sean and I have a podcast.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Dude, and what's funny is me and Brett, we grew up the same way. And I do believe he had a bit of a harder upbringing. I was the baby.
I was the same for us.
Yeah, so when you're the baby, you really do get away with more, and you don't get as hard.
Which also makes more sense too, because Sean is a very traditional guy too, and I'm significantly less traditional than Sean is.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, if you look at what my brother does for a career and what I do as a career, we grew up the same way, but we went this way. You know what I mean? Like we polar. I remember we were at a warehouse job that I had. When I was 19, I got a warehouse job and I worked there for 3 years. And I remember he was on my shit about enlisting. And I don't want you to end up, like we grew up.
And care of you,
he
man.
Was, dude. And it was tough. It was,
I know
honestly,
this because I've done this for
it was
so long.
tough love. It was truly tough love. And I had to explain to him. And I remember him saying, "What's your plans? Like, what are you going to do?" And I remember sitting there and going, "I don't know. But I'll figure it out. I promise I'll figure it out."
But your brother had that mentality
he did.
to get to where he's at, man.
Yep. That pressure that he was creating for me,
sure.
While it didn't directly impact the decision I made, I mean, truly, he deserves a lot of credit. I mean, he really made sure that I didn't end up
just fucking off.
He just didn't want me to end up in a trailer park, man.
And if I could talk to Brett, and share my experience to him, shout out Brett, is that, I understand why he's like that because I was the same way. When we were growing up, your parents at that time, they don't. You're you're the first child. You're like the first. Not necessarily. You might not be the first child, but your parents kind of, they're going through harder struggles. They're younger at the time, and they don't know as much at the time, so things are a little bit harder on you. But as they get older, things start to get easier for your parents' lifestyle. Things get a little more lax for the second child, the third child.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And but Brett's just he remembers those early days, and he remembers hey man, I'm just here to look out for you.
Yeah, there's memories where I have where he for sure had always got it a lot harder than I did, and whether it be discipline or certain expectations that my parents held for him. My parents split when I was 2, so we didn't live there. I lived with my mom for the first 9-10 years, and then my dad the rest. And I don't want to change anything ever of how I grew up. That struggle that we dealt with, that honest struggle of figuring out what we're going to eat and figuring out how we're going to do things and living in that trailer park sculpted me to who I am now. Right. And I don't take anything for granted. I'm also not a very flashy guy, and I love that I'm not because I could be so dumb and buy chains and fucking all kinds of stupid shit.
I feel like you absolutely should at least buy one chain,
dude. I'm not gonna look, man. I got an ad for Jack's chains popped up on my YouTube, and I was like, "Look kind of nice."
You should get a little gaudy with it.
A little,
just every now and then.
Yeah,
build a little character out of it.
Yeah, dude. I do have a nice watch. But it was only $200. For me, buying something. So I had a monetary goal for this gambling shit, right? Mm-hmm. When I hit that goal, and I won't say what the goal is, but when I hit that goal, it was a goal I never thought was going to be actually attainable. And so when I hit when I hit that goal, you know what I did?
What?
This is all I did to celebrate, man.
Went to the Waffle House.
No, dude, I bought this. I bought an Apple Watch. And it was like not even a fucking like 1% of the goal. It was like so less. And I remember my buddies being like, what the fuck? Like you hit this goal. Like go out and like do something. Chris still gets on to me this day about not enjoying my money.
Chris is loose. Yeah, Chris is
loose.
But it's always been like a wild stallion.
Yeah, but Chris is kind of like not really going too crazy either, though. Honestly,
no, he's not.
He's fucking.
He's not. But when you're the last line of defense, which essentially means like you don't have anybody to help you if anything goes wrong. Like my parents, they're not doing well enough to ever help me and Brett if we go. So me and Brett are really on our own. We have to figure out stuff for ourselves.
We're both in the same boat. Yeah.
So so if anything ever happens to where something bad happens, I mean, we could probably rely on each other. Yeah. Like if my brother was going through it, I'd help him 100%.
Exactly. Yep.
I would do what I needed to help
him.
But I feel like he would do the same for me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, because we've been taking care of ourselves for so long that I don't think he would.
It's never been any other way.
Of course not. Yeah. And again, like I'm really close to my brother, even though he's so far away. And you know, we don't talk every day. We don't have heart to hearts every day or anything. Right. But we just. Like, I have his back no matter what. Like, if anything ever happens to him, trouble, nothing, I will be on the first flight out to go save him. Yeah. You know, like, whatever I could do to help him, I would do. You know?
And now you're starting to feel like you have, like, those friends that would go with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bringing friends on with what I've done, man, is, you know, it was a very risky thing because when you bring someone into this life, you do follow or you do have that risk of turning them into an addict. Then that's very true.
Really?
Yeah, because with this life becomes almost an emotion roller coaster. So if you're a very emotional person, especially for people like us, you know, who didn't grow up with a lot, if you go into a place and you, again, do not have that mental fortress, essentially, that fortitude to sit there and say, hey, like, I can do this. I got to do this right. Those flashing lights, man, those waitresses that bring you drinks, those people in the casino, things will get to you. And it happened to me early on, yeah, where essentially I was making bad decisions when I shouldn't have. And it was because I had to learn. I didn't understand how to deal with it because I never stepped foot really in a casino. I went for like my 22nd birthday or something like that. And I played a little bit of Blackjack. And what's funny is I won $540. I still remember the amount because I was fucking stoked, man. $540 at 22 years of age. At that time, I remember Hottie was with me. Bro, I was like,
yeah, we eating nice today.
And dude, I remember watching that movie 21, and I was like, oh, check me out. You know, I counted cards. Like, I'm the
fucking dude.
Bro, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, bro. Straight up. Like, I was making all kinds of decisions. I was playing a full table. You know, people were telling me what to do. Like, I remember this one guy was like, if you win this hand, I'll buy you a drink. And I had, like, split cards, and it was, like, 4 different hands. And, like, I had, like, $90 on the table, which, again, for me at that time was fucking a lot of money.
Right.
And I did that, and I remember I won, and he bought me a beer. And, you know, it was like a party, and I had won money. So in my head, I'm like, oh, I could do this.
Fucking
you know?
dude.
So I've had this mentality of this gambling stuff for a very long time. Ever since I watched that movie when I was 14. Like, I always, in my brain, knew about card counting. I knew that it was there.
That's crazy. That is so fucking, that's insane.
And now it's a thing. Now it's a real thing.
Now you fucking do it.
So they don't. So your loved ones don't. They accept it now. They don't have a choice.
Bro, ain't nobody got a fucking choice. I'm gonna be me. Yeah. The thing is like if I was hurting people, or if I was, let's say, preying on the poor, like casinos do, they prey on the poor and addiction. That's what they do. It's
kind of sick.
Yeah, it really is.
Homes are the same way.
Yeah. Yep. They prey on people who are like non-mobile.
I know your loved one just died.
Give me $10,000.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so fucked up.
Put some makeup
man.
on them.
Dude, yeah, it's so messed up.
Go freeze them and throw them out there. Shoot some gel.
Yeah,
like a jelly
you can come see
him. Look at him. Yeah,
yeah. It's
look
fucking ridiculous, man. It truly is. But like,
gross.
If I was hurting people, like if I was like preying on the poor, like if I was taking money from people, I wouldn't do this. Like if I mean, and truly, because I believe how you make your money is a lot more important than how much money you make, and I really believe that quote. Because if you're fucking people over and you're a millionaire, fuck you. You know, you're a piece of shit.
Sure, yeah.
But if you're making $1 million and you are helping people, or in a sense taking money from like
you're
a
fucking
casino,
over the government.
Yeah, like,
absolutely, baby. Keep doing what you do.
As long as you're not hurting
American,
people,
baby.
Yeah, like it's capitalism, baby, at its finest. Because it's like there's so many ways to make money that fucks other people over, people who need it.
Yeah.
But I just can never bring myself to take money from someone who needs it. And that's why I've become a very generous person now, because now I have the money to become so generous. But I was generous when I had no money. You know,
right.
It doesn't.
I can
have you ever? That. I'm sure you guys have heard the term "money changes people." Bro, that shit don't change you. That shit exposes you.
Yeah.
If you're a bad person when you got no money, you'll be a bad person when you get money. If you're a good person when you're broke, you'll be a good person when you get money.
You just
money
do it more.
Doesn't fucking change you, man.
You just fucking do it more.
Yeah, but people always like to say that because it's like an easy thing to say that people with money are evil.
Changes you.
Bro, it's not the case. I was generous when I had no money. I'm generous.
It gives that person
now.
the confidence to be who they want to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It gives them the freedom too.
Freedom,
You don't have to worry about like what the fuck am I going to eat tomorrow if I give this person $100 or whatever.
Exactly. It exposes you because having that freedom of your life and that money, you do whatever you want to. So it's like, you know, I do whatever I want to every day. And I'm blessed. I'm so thankful to be able to say that. And granted, it's come from my hard work. So it's not like it fell in my fucking lap or anything. But I was able to make this life for myself. And I'm very thankful for this life for myself. But I don't do anything I don't want to do because I'm not like an easily agreeable person. You know what I mean? Like a non-agreeable person will really figure out what's good for themselves. You know, they're not going to listen to everybody that chimes in their ear.
Right.
And you may disappoint those people. Like, again, I did. But you know what you're doing is right. You know what you're doing is right. You know what you're doing is good, and you're not hurting anyone. And as long as you can do that and still feel confident in yourself, you'll be fine.
So you've got Steven and Chris.
Yeah.
Are you looking to get more people? Are you looking to you have friends in sight that like you think would enjoy or do it or?
So I've showed now probably 6 to 7 friends, and them are the 2 that really picked it up. They were just like, you know what, I could do this. And you know, I don't want to sound like too philosophical here, like because I really do. I really
love
do.
Some philosophy,
dude,
so let's get into it.
I like to remain very humble. I do have a sense of a humility where I don't like to sit there and you know do certain things. I fuck with them all the time. Don't get me wrong. I give Chris and Steven shit all the time about it. Yeah,
well, comedy makes things okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, comedy's a lot different.
Like, dude, trust me. Like, they're in this now, and I'll slide in a comment. Well, if it went for me, bitch, you wouldn't be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially for Chris.
Especially Chris. Yeah,
shank him
it's like how much did you make? Remember, that's for me. That's for me. Because of me.
You ought to give me 20%.
Exactly. Yeah.
How much was Coke paying you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, it was never really the money amount. And I've said this before that if I go down to making $40,000 a year doing this, I would still do it. And the reason why is because I do whatever I want to. Every day. No one tells me what to do. No one tells me the time to wake up.
God, that's freedom.
Dude, I don't wake up to an alarm ever unless we have something to do.
Like this, man. I mean, we've talked about it on other podcasts, and I was talking to my brother-in-law, Justin. Shout out, Justin. And he was like, you spend 33% of your life sleeping, 33% of your life working. So that means you have 33% of your life that you actually get to live.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want to spend 33% of your life?
2/3. Yeah.
Yes.
2/3 of your life doing shit that you can't really control. Well, you can in a sense of the work thing.
Making
but like,
money for some other
I know, man.
rich old white dude.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and
basically.
Just to put it in terms of like bringing them in, I have felt more fulfilled bringing them in and giving them a change of life, helping change their life, way more than the amount of money I've made. Man. Dude, because the reason why is like, I don't ever remember Chris saying he hated his job.
Never.
But I know that he didn't want to move to Charleston.
But like, the thing about Chris Harris is, like I said, Chris Harris is like a fucking wild stallion.
Yeah.
He needs to run, baby.
Yep.
He needs to run.
And it's really hard.
It's cage in this. You can't put a fucking wild stallion in the damn. That horse
has got to fuck, man.
Yeah.
You can't put that.
That's what the stallion's for.
You can't put that wild stallion on the mill hill in the backyard.
Yeah.
That motherfucker got to run, man.
Yeah, and not only that, man, but like having him come out the first time ever and seeing it, he instantly, like, the thing is, he clicked. He was like, I could see this. I could see the potential. Bro, it was like 2 weeks later he quit his fucking job. I was like,
what is that gene? Because some people just don't have that gene.
I don't know.
Of whatever it is. Because Chris Harris has that gene of like, oh, let's do this.
It's almost like an impulse decision. Like, fuck it, I'll do it.
He doesn't overthink. I'm an overthinker. Like, I like to strategize and overthink things, and I am more traditional, like your brother. Like, I really relate to your brother.
Of course.
But
you're an older brother too, though.
Yes,
like you're
exactly.
Like
him and sometimes I've got
grew up in that
came to points in my life where I was like, you know, I think I'm just gonna fucking go for it.
Yeah.
And then I'll get reeled back in.
Yep.
By you and Dad sometimes. You know.
I mean, me and my brother have gotten into. Trust me, me and my brother argue like motherfuckers. So it's like, you know, like we've gotten into big arguments about this, you know, and like the end game and stuff like that. Like he's even wanted me to, hey man, maybe you should start taking classes and stuff. I'm like, Bruh, I dropped out of college for a reason. I'm not going back. Like
classes. I learned this shit. I hate classes.
I do. I'm just not a good student because I'm not interested. I'm just.
You don't give a fuck about that shit.
Now, granted, to be fair, if years down the road, if people come back to this and hear me say shit like this, I'm not opposed to going backwards. I'm not opposed. Like, it doesn't cripple me to go backwards. It doesn't cripple me to say, you know what, I was wrong 3 years ago. I actually would like to go to school and learn this. Because what if my passion changes?
I like how you're covering your ass because you expect us to get bigger.
Dude, I think you guys are gonna fucking make it, man. I love what you guys are doing.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I mean, we're growing, but it's you're always gonna pay attention to the views and shit like that in the comments and stuff. But it's always I do it just because I fucking love doing it.
I really feel like at the beginning too, nobody expected us to keep doing this.
Yeah,
like everybody thought it's just a phase.
It's just a phase,
and now we're almost a fucking year in, dude.
Yeah, and not like that, man. People quit right before they make it. Yeah, just remember that.
I saw
it's like the guy digging into the miner.
Exactly. Just remember that shit, man.
Yeah,
just remember that. Like, just as long as you're enjoying it. Now, if you start coming in here every day and you're like, "Fuck, I gotta have this guy on," like, I'm gonna sit here and talk. I'm gonna get drunk as shit. Like, I don't want to be here. Then you might want to start thinking about something else. But as long as you're having fun, man, just keep doing it.
But it's kind of wild that this generation is taking more leaps, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. Like, I really like the fact that, like, it's not as – because the new generation is not traditional at all.
No.
Not at all. My generation still holds on to some of those traditional roots because I feel like we had to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're what? 28, 29?
29.
So you're I mean, 2 years younger than me. So
Brett's 32. So,
yeah. So it's like, man, it's very interesting to see how the younger generation is like, fuck working a 9 to 5, we'll just hustle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I respect it. I really do because I always said, like, I don't care how much you're fucking making. If you're miserable when you go to work, you only get, I mean, all we know is you get one life.
Yeah.
That's all we know. I mean,
maybe you only live once.
Maybe you
YOLO.
don't. Oh, God.
Yeah. And see, dude,
you said it, not me.
Dude, that terminology right there,
God,
that YOLO shit got so blown out of proportion, and it was like YOLO for partying. And
yeah,
YOLO
no,
for this.
yeah.
It's like, no, like, you should actually sit there and take that in as you only do live once.
That's why I'm drinking water on this podcast right now.
Yeah.
Because you only live once.
Boo.
I'm trying to be here fucking 80. Hey, stop it.
Highland Gaelic, not a sponsor, but that's what I'm drinking. It's very good.
Oh yeah,
dude. How's the Tangerine Express?
Dude, it's awesome. This is my third one, bro. And
nice.
It's really good.
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's good for a hazy too. It's not as strong for a hazy. I know it's because it's like 6.7.
I really like Stone, dude.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, they're good. The hazies are good. Hazies are in right now.
Yeah, I went through a huge hazy phase, and I think I stopped because they got big.
Yeah,
big hipster guy.
Yeah, it's like I can't.
So now I'm like,
I can't conform to society.
So now I'm like, let me get some brown ales now. I have been on a brown ale kick for like the last 3 months.
I shit on hipsters for so long.
Yeah,
and
we were one.
And slowly becoming a hipster.
You either die.
I did too, man.
And Brian was like, dude, you know we're fucking hipsters, right? I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm dancing around and I'm like, I don't know, nah. You realize we're fucking hipsters, right?
And then he pauses, and I go, I'm wearing jean shorts.
When did jorts come back in?
I was like, I'm wearing jean shorts, and we're listening to fucking Kill Switch Engage.
Yeah.
But we're also throwing the football and grilling steaks.
And having a good time.
What the fuck is going on here? We're drinking IPAs.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. But, so you said you've been kicked out of 31 casinos or 31 times in different
31
casinos?
times.
Okay.
So 31 times is essentially multiple times in one place as well.
Okay.
So, and I have hilarious back off stories if you guys want to hear about them.
We have all the time.
Yeah, dude. I had
except for like 2 hours. Yeah. Except for like an hour and a half more. Yeah, no, we're done.
This one story. I was down south in a casino, and I walked in, and I had a feeling that I had already been flyered. It's a casino market with like 7 casinos. What they do is when they identify you as a card counter, they'll take a picture of you
and send you to all the casinos.
Around that area.
That's a fucking cult almost.
Yeah, it kind of sucks balls, honestly, because you're like, oh man. Because so when I went, this was back when COVID was at its prime, pretty much. So everyone wore a mask. You didn't have to. Because a casino would take anybody, anybody with money they'll take. So I remember I got a 5-pack of neck gaiters on Amazon, and I had to change so I would go play a casino, and then I would leave, change hats. I got 5 different hats.
Have you pulled out the fake mustache yet?
No, dude. I haven't. But I have a trip planned with Chris coming up in June where I'm actually going to be dyeing my hair.
Do you build characters? Or are
You're going to dye your hair?
Yeah, but temporary dye, not real dye.
Oh, I was hoping it was real dye.
It's going to be, no, fuck that shit. I want to stay ginger forever. But no, it's going to be temporary dye. And because this place that we got kicked out of back in February of last year, bro, they fucking spotted me quick. They got me quick, yeah. They got me, and then I guess I could tell this one first. But we were on a 10-day road trip. And this was the third day at this one spot. And we had heard that people would get kicked out.
Where were we going?
It was in Oklahoma.
Okay.
And it was an Indian reservation. And so we went there, and we were playing. Chris is the one who gets caught.
Of course.
And so first thing I do is go to my boy, because he had just really started with me. So, first thing you do is you never give your ID ever to the casino. Ever. They're not the law.
Chris fucking Harris.
Dude. So they were asking for his ID, and I'm pretty sure he knew not to give it to him. But I walked really fast over there, and I was like, hey, don't give me your ID. Because he had his wallet out. And I was like, don't give me your ID, put your wallet up. Like, you don't want them to know who you are.
Because they'll spread the word.
Dude, as soon as I said that, they left him alone and came after me, bro.
Because
they were like, oh, this motherfucker.
He's the big fish.
Yeah, who's this guy? And they were like, oh, where's
fish.
your ID? And I was like, oh, I don't have ID. I don't carry ID on me.
Up your motherfucker's ass.
Yeah,
and mother's ass.
Dude, I remember I had some chips, and they were like, why don't you show me those chips? And I was like, no, it's all right. And I was like, because, essentially what they can do is they can make it to where you can't cash out if they know what you have. So I was like, I'm not showing you this. And I was like, you just won't let me cash out unless I bring ID. And he was like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I was like, then why would I let you? Yeah.
That's my money.
So, dude, I just start walking. I was like, Chris, we're leaving. So I start walking. And I'm like power walking at this point because I'm kind of mad. Because they're trying to
intimidate me.
Yeah. And I don't really deal with that well because I'm like, I know the law. I know the rules. Like, I'm not breaking any laws.
Yeah, that tough guy shit, you can take that somewhere else.
Yeah. So I was walking, dude. They started berating the fuck out of me, calling me a piece of shit. Like, because they're in any reservation, so they can do whatever the fuck they want. They're calling me a piece of shit. They're calling me like, oh, you're the scum. Like, you're a fucking cockroach. All this stuff.
While they're preying on people by feeding them alcohol and saying, hey, spend your whole bank here.
Exactly. They take advantage of everyone. But if you have a brain and you go into a casino with a slightly clue of how to beat them and take money, you're a piece of shit to them. And so I remember, dude, they were berating me. I look back, bro. I look at Chris. He's fucking lollyganging, whistling. Got a guy back there with him, bro. He's getting a free refill and shit at the drink machine.
Chris has so much charisma.
I was like, bro, what is going on? And I remember Chris told me after the fact that he asked the guy, he's like, what's going on? And he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, they're just after him, I guess. And Chris is like, oh, I don't fucking know either. Dude, so like they're leaving him. But what's funny is he got caught. He's the one who got caught. I just went up to him and was like, hey, don't show ID. They berated me all the way to the elevator. I got to the elevator and I was like, oh, I didn't come in this way. I'm not getting in the elevator. He's like, oh, you're getting in the elevator. I was like,
Joe's going to try to.
And I was like, okay, force me into the elevator. I'm not getting in the elevator. And I was like, and so I turned around and started walking. And then they started following me because I knew they couldn't touch me. I knew they couldn't. So I kind of wanted them to.
Put me in the fucking elevator,
bro. If you get touched, like I'm not even.
He's gonna put that gum on the damn.
Dude, I'm not even exaggerating. If you get touched like this,
you can sue,
bro. 6 figures.
Easy.
They can't touch you, bro. They can't touch you. That's
so no Goodfellas shit.
No, dude. That's the 60s,
that's
bro.
A myth.
That's the 60s.
Damn, that ruins the movies,
dude. That old.
We love that fucking movie.
No, in that time, I think what's it called? The Mafia ran Vegas, right?
Dude, back then it's true. So back then, you ever seen the movie Casino?
Yes.
To break that motherfucker's hands.
Yes.
That shit was real back then, but now everything's federally done. Like in the 60s and 70s, you fuck around, you get
But now
it's dead. Bro, now you get touched. That's money.
Touch me.
Money. Yeah, and I'm not an asshole when I get backed off. I'm very respectful. They're just doing their job. I'm doing my job too, though. So don't be disrespectful to me. I won't be disrespectul to you. But anyways, they wound up walking me out. I remember I kept lying to them. I was like, I got my ID in the truck. I just kept saying that. Bro, we got to the garage and I was like, we literally got to the garage and I was like, my ID's in my hotel room. Because like they were just kept on going and going.
I love trolling motherfuckers.
Dude. And they were like, okay, bring that back and we'll let you cash out.
I'd be right back.
Bro, me and Chris went to Sonic. We ate food. We talked about where we were going next because it was in the very beginning of Oklahoma. We were doing all of Oklahoma because there's like fucking 70 casinos there.
Wow.
So we went.
Why is Oklahoma such a? Is that just because
Indian reservations? Yeah. So we went there, and we went to Sonic. We ate, and I was like, well, I can't go back in there, but you can go cash my. You look like a normal person. You don't have red hair.
I need Chris to walk in with a Fu Manchu,
dude. He
with
walked
a cowboy
in,
hat.
He walked in, cashed it, no issue, and then we just took off. But it was such a weird dynamic because I'm like, I've never been called a piece of shit so much in my life, you know. Like it was just weird to hear for them to keep
Other
saying
than in the mirror, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. You gotta fucking tell yourself. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
You're a piece of shit.
But the only other really bad back off I ever got, the one that was the most memorable, is when I was down south. The one I started with before that story was I was at a place and I think I got flyered and I went in. I was playing 15 minutes, and this is what made this story so good. Was there was a drunk guy. It was 1 p.m. on a Thursday. It was a drunk guy. It was a blackjack table.
So
open.
probably nobody in there, right?
No, exactly. And
Dead.
you know, that's actually what you want. You want it in a sense of like, well, you don't
Less distractions.
less distractions. Not only that, but less people at the table. So the way our money is generated is rounds per hour. So you need more rounds per hour to generate more money. If you have a full table, you're not generating that much money because 6 people have to get dealt cards. 6 people have to make decisions. Not that they'll fuck up your decisions.
Okay. It just
not
takes
that
time.
it's all time
It's all
related.
time, yeah.
So you need like 100 rounds per hour
Yes, you
for
just wanna
the
boom,
exactly.
boom, boom,
so
boom.
I want heads up. I want me and the dealer just going at it. You know, because more rounds per hour is more money.
Now, has the dealer ever like looked at you and been like, hey,
Dude,
man, what's up?
all the fucking
like,
time.
I know what's going on here.
Yeah,
Good
they
for you.
understand it because they see the bet levels change.
Yeah.
You know, because like, dude, I've had so many people like, oh man, you're betting big this one, huh? And like, I'll get dealt like a
Dude, they
fucking
ever be
20,
like,
and bro, they'll be like,
You know what you're doing,
dude,
man.
yeah, they'll like pay me, and then they'll like look at me,
Yeah.
like that. Dude, because dealers see it all. Dealers
Yeah.
see
They know.
people.
They
Yeah,
know.
dude, there's more card counters than you would actually think out there.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
And the casino's still fucking everybody, making an assload of money.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
getting theirs.
Yeah.
That's what.
But
yeah.
fucking sidetrack. But so I was there 15 minutes, and this fat motherfucking security guard, bro, comes up behind me.
Paul Blart.
And the reason I'm so like aggro on this guy because he was a dick. He holds on, like he's like, I got him, and I was like, he was like right behind me. I was like, huh, me? You know?
Right, me?
And
What
he
am I
was like,
doing?
we need to see ID. And I was like, I don't have ID.
Pull your dick out.
Yeah, right. I say the same
I'll show
shit.
you.
Oh, you don't recognize this? Oh, I thought everybody did. Sorry.
Here's my ID. This is how I identify.
This is my D.
I identify as a dick, bro. Like, straight up. No, but like I didn't show my ID, and I was like, I don't have ID. That's what I always say. I don't have ID. Yeah. And he was like, no, we know you have ID because when you bought in, you had your wallet or whatever. And I was like, oh, I don't carry my ID in my wallet. I've had my identity stolen plenty of times. I just say random shit. And he was like, okay. He's like, that's the fucking game you want to play? He was like, color him up. And it was, bro, it was only like $300, bro. I was like, what are you, like, bro, you're sweating over $300? Like, bro. And this drunk guy beside me, this is why it's my favorite story ever. This drunk guy beside me goes, what the fuck's going on? And I remember I looked
Praise
at
hell. Praise hell.
Yeah, dude, the whole raise hell, praise hell kind of guy.
What's going on?
And
they just all bothering this motherfucker, man.
yeah, they colored me up. Because it's ruining.
What's coloring me up?
Oh, color me up. Okay, so if I buy in for like $300, right?
Yeah.
They'll give me 12 green chips, $25 a chip, right?
Okay.
It's a $25 table, so that's the minimum you can bet. So they're going to give you $25. When they say color you up, what you're doing is giving them the green chips back. They're going to give you bigger denomination, which means like $100 chips. So if I had like $300 in chips, they're going to give me 3 blacks to make sure they're rack, because the dealers all have that rack, with the money in it.
Yeah.
They have that because of like they want to be able to pay people.
Right.
So if you're taking all their green
So they
away,
try to like manage it a little bit.
exactly. They try their best to manage it. So he said, color me up. He gave me it was like 3 black and like 75 in green. So it was like 3 black and 3 green. So I didn't win that much money. I was like barely won $75.
Like $300, I shouldn't have owls on me.
No, well, the $300 I bought in for, so I only won $75.
Okay.
That's how fucking sweaty this place was.
They must have
huh?
They must have knew.
Oh yeah, that's why I think
like
I was fired.
previous,
That's why I
yeah.
thought I was fired. So I wound up getting the money. And then the drunk guy beside me, he goes, "Where are you going?" Because I had been winning, and he won every hand.
If you win a casino on a Thursday at 12,
Wait,
bro,
so he was winning every hand with
yeah,
you?
so he was just betting $25 though. Like most people will, okay, so
he was on vacation.
Yeah,
probably.
most people in a casino will go there for free drinks,
For sure.
and they'll sit there and they'll bet.
a little bit, have fun.
Yeah, they will flat bet, which
Maybe
means
they
they will
hit.
not change their bet at all and just play and hope to get lucky.
Yeah.
So he was winning every hand with 2 people. See, people have this superstition of like, oh, if it's 2 people,
I can beat 'em.
and then if I go to 1 person, they're gonna beat me. So people have a lot of, it's called gambler's fallacy.
Okay.
They make up shit in their head.
Yeah, they have like
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
fallacies, yeah.
So I remember he goes, "What you doing?" And I was like, "Man, they're kicking me out, man." And he was like, "For what?" And I was like, "I guess I'm winning too much." And he goes, That's fucked up. He was like, I ain't playing here no more.
I ain't playing here no more.
He was like, I ain't playing here no more. He was like, color me up too. And dude, he ended up leaving the table. I don't know if he stayed there, whatever. He was just drunk.
Color me up too,
but
brother.
dude, it was just so funny.
He was saying he had your back.
Yeah, because
you made him a little,
he had my back.
He thought you made
he was
some
winning
money.
every hand.
Yeah.
He thought that like me being there was lucky for him. You know, because again, people have the
People
weirdest
are like that.
superstitions.
People
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah. He did not like they were
follow
kicking
you.
me out. He didn't like that shit
That's
at all.
fucking awesome, dude.
Wow.
You can make friends anywhere sometimes,
Dude,
man.
yeah, you
And you
can.
just like just a little bit of personality. That's
Man.
it. That's all it takes.
What time was that on a Thursday? What time
It
was
was
it?
it was like 12, yeah, 1
12,
p.m.
12 p.m. on a fucking
Yeah, like mid-afternoon. He was drunk as balls,
mid-afternoon on
yeah.
a Thursday.
When's the last time you've been drunk on a Thursday? At 12 p.m.
Probably not this past
Yeah,
vacation,
dude.
but the past. At 12, I don't know if it was at 12.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, like you go into a casino and on Thursday and there's a guy in there.
yeah.
That motherfucker's got some stories to tell.
Oh,
you.
yeah.
He's got
man.
he's got a little something going on. He's
I'd
gonna
like to
tell you
hear
some
a few
shit that you
stories,
want to hang
yeah.
out with.
For sure.
That's hilarious. Yeah, man. That gene of that these new people have, like the
fucking
new
hustle
generation,
gene. It's the hustle gene. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of respect it. Like I think you have to balance tradition with like being able to be yourself. I think there's
Yeah.
a balance there. There's a balance with everything in life. What with anything you do, whether it's brushing your teeth, whether it's whatever it is, there's always a balance of like you got to manage that. Mental peace, you got to manage that. There's always a balance. But yeah, I think that's I always admired you, especially the first time I saw you when I first heard the energy you had.
Yeah.
Internet Discord going, dude, I quit my
Dude.
job, and like I mean, you was in there
Oh
with
yeah,
me.
and
I
that was our
remember.
first question. Was like, bro, he's about to get his head
And like,
in the vice.
yeah, I was like, and then that was our first. Our concern wasn't the gambling issues. Our concern was like because we could both tell
Don't
that
want me to get hurt.
this was
Yeah,
legit.
sure,
Like
yeah.
you know what the fuck you're doing.
Oh,
because
yeah.
when you looked at Discord, I remember even Brian. I go, dude, that dude's about to be in casino.
Oh, that's the first thing we
Yeah,
said.
that's the first thing I said. Was like that motherfucker's gonna end up in casino. Like
Yeah, because the
casino.
first time you joined, like I said, like it was like a month before you had ever quit. You were like, dude, I'm thinking about quitting my job to start
Yeah.
counting
And I was
cards,
like,
start
yeah.
gambling. We were like, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's on something. Probably not.
We got a little wild gene in us too. I mean, I have a
kind
fucking
of like the podcast, like
Yeah.
you said with the
Yeah, for
podcast
sure.
thing. It's just a phase,
Yeah,
maybe
right,
it's
right,
a phase,
exactly.
yeah.
And
People
then,
think it's
and then
a
you came
phase.
back and he was like, I really think I'm gonna quit my fucking
Yeah.
job.
And I was like, oh,
It was
this
like,
guy's for
and
real.
they were like, maybe. And then he goes, I quit my job. And I was like, oh, he wouldn't have done that if he didn't fucking know.
Yeah.
And dude, when
Yeah.
I've hung out with like Chris, afterwards he's like, yeah, I just quit my job. He's like, I'm me and Alex we're going to Iowa or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
that motherfucker is doing
Yeah,
it.
I remember
Alex,
me-
that motherfucker is doing it,
Me and
man.
Chris,
Good for him.
I had like a Monday off or some shit, and I was like, I ain't got shit going on. I was like, I text Chris, I'm like, hey man, you want to get lunch? I was like, yeah, sure, I'm off. I was like,
Yep.
fuck yeah. I was like-
Titties.
and so I'm talking to him, and I'm like, so what you been up to, man? He's like, oh, not much. Me and Alex just. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, I quit my job at Coke, and I was like, dude, what the fuck?
It's like
Yeah.
a cult.
And that's what I was like, I forgot about that shit, man.
Yeah. And he was making good money too. He was making over 70 a year.
Yeah.
The thing is it's not.
He was.
a,
what was his job out there?
He was
manager.
he was
a
a
manager.
warehouse
He
manager, I
was a
believe.
plant
Yeah.
manager.
Plant manager. Yeah.
God
Charleston.
damn.
They
Dude,
gave him a whole
imagine
plant.
like that's why I think like it's got more credibility because now more people are understanding like, oh, bro, these people quit real jobs. They were making real money for this, but it wasn't
To fucking
really
have all 4 days. 4 or 5
exactly.
days
It
a
really
week.
wasn't about the money. When I quit, the money helps. Like
course.
I'm not ever gonna bullshit.
Like if you're
anyone.
gonna make $0, you can't fucking just quit your job and be a bum.
I don't ever want to get this misconstrued and bullshit people and say, oh man, the reason I quit went for them. The money's awesome. Like it's changed. The money's
freedom.
changed. Yeah, the money's that freedom. That's why I said if I go to making $30,000,
fucking
$40,000 a year,
freedom.
because $40,000 a year will pay everything I need plus some. Like
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of debt. Like I said,
There
I
you
have,
go,
a
yeah.
house, I have a mortgage. It would pay some, and I would still have money left over. The reason why is because I do whatever I want. No one tells me what to do, and it's that non-agreeable factor
That's
of
what
myself.
life is supposed to
Dude,
be.
you
For
should.
sure.
You have got to be yourself. If not, bro. I see these people and these kids still to this day, growing up being what their parents want them to be. You go to college. I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a lawyer. They almost get kind of, what do they call that word? It's like groomed to be whatever that parent wants them to be
Yes.
because they're insecure about their own life. That parent is insecure where they are and making.
And they want to live through their child.
exactly.
Too.
They want to live vicariously through them, so they force them to go on these things
And put all these expectations.
Exactly.
On shit of what they
Exactly.
should and shouldn't
and
be.
it's fucked up because that kid will eventually. It might be when they're 55 years old and they retire. They've got a good career. They made a buttload of money. They have a good family. They took their kids through college, everything. But at 55, they sit there and be like, fuck, I didn't want to be a mechatronics major. I didn't want to be an engineer. I wanted to play the violin. And it's like, but they don't.
Yeah,
but
sure.
at that time, it's too late.
People kind of like lose track of the fact of like the freedom of life, of like
They
just
do.
enjoying life in its purity and its purest form. People lose they get so caught up in the systematic.
Yep.
Did you say mechatronics major on purpose?
Oh no, that's
Well,
that's what you did.
That's what I did.
That's what I went to college for before I dropped out.
No shit.
Yeah, that's why I said mechatronics. That's because I went to college and dropped out.
That's what I do now. So
yeah, I remember I went to Tri-County and dropped out.
Funny you mention it.
Yeah, dude, that is weird.
I'll see you in the casino in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Dude,
I'm not opposed to it at all.
I just remember doing.
How could you be?
I just remember doing the mechatronics degree, and I just remember sitting there, man, and I was doing the classes, and I was like,
I don't like this shit.
I can't see myself doing this every day.
You can't fault the older generation for
Of course
thinking
not.
that way.
Exactly.
Sure.
I mean, their parents were in the Great Depression, man.
Yep.
Like you had to fight and claw just to be able to have comfort.
Of course.
At nighttime and have food on the table, man.
Yeah.
Like that is built into our DNA at this point. The fact that like we had to struggle, and our grandparents had to struggle, and their parents had to struggle. You know, and they think that like, okay, this is how you make it. This is how you can. I mean, working a 9 to 5, you get off at 5 o'clock. You have 5-6 hours
you gotta go to
to relax and do whatever you want. But there's something so beautiful in the fact that you just said, "Fuck that."
Yeah, dude, fuck that shit.
Fuck
dude,
that,
fuck
dude.
that shit, man.
Fuck that. And then
Yeah.
now you're like, I have freedom. I like that's what life is supposed to be.
Yeah.
You should have to like. I'm almost jealous of homeless people sometimes, and I realize what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So people who are like yelling at the
because it's black.
yelling at the TV right now.
Because right now, if it's black and white, they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I realize what I'm saying. So just shut the fuck up and let me talk. I'm jealous of homeless people in the fact that they have the freedom to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Obviously, money is an issue, but the fact that they can enjoy, human contact, human interactions, naturally, and there's something beautiful in the fact of like, I'm not going to be a slave to just working in
society
9 to 5,
in general.
Yeah, and just becoming part of that whole. I'm a slave. You're a slave to just like living.
Yeah.
Which is, America is to me the greatest country that's out there. We have our issues, and I'm not trying to get political here, but I think there is something beautiful about freedom.
Yeah, there is.
At its purest form. A homeless person has freedom at its purest form.
Have you been to another country?
I have not.
Okay, so that's actually what I was going to say, is that many people out there will sit there and be like, this country's better. This country's better. This country's better. If this person wins presidency, I'm moving to this country. It's all fucking bullshit, dude. Those people have never been to another country. I've been to 7. Me and Chris did that 7-country thing. I was so happy to be back in America,
Was
bro.
you really?
Dude, I fucking love
believe
America.
that.
America is the best country in the world. Now, I haven't been to every country in the world, so maybe I change when I go to
It's
Canada.
the most hated country in the world,
Dude,
too.
it is. It's like, I know we do a lot of fucked up things. I know a lot of fucked up things happen. We do a lot of stuff good. And the freedoms that we've grown up with our whole life, you go to another country, you just don't have it. And you would think it's like, well, like what kind of freedoms, bro? It's something as simple as drink choices. Like when I went over there, okay, so I drink those 0-calorie ultra monsters.
Where'd you go?
Well, Germany, Austria, all that, the whole Triple Chris, Czech Republic, all that shit.
Yeah.
So when we got there, the only monsters we could find were like the white ultra monsters, and like sometimes you'd find the watermelon monster. And while that's not a big deal to many people, I was like, bro, I want my orange. Like I want my fucking orange. Like if I want my orange, I should get my orange. You know? And that's just like the America way
I want
of
it now.
freedom. Yeah, you get what you want.
You're spoiled.
Yeah, you are. And so like all those people was like, oh, this country's better. Bitch, you've probably never even been to that country. So like I don't know why you're saying like this country's better or you don't like America. You've probably never been, truly. So
yeah, we're talking about like just the culture differences between like America and some of the countries he's been to.
Right. Yeah.
What's some of the differences you've noticed going traveling? Because I've never been to a different country.
So whenever we went to Italy, it was a lot cheaper.
I went to Italy.
It was a lot cheaper. It was
I went to
nice
Trieste,
out there. It was
Italy,
nice fun.
yeah.
We went
Me and
to
Chris
we
did.
stayed in Jesolo, and then we went out
cozy.
to Venice.
Yeah.
Oh God. And then but Austria, that place is
Austria
cool
was
as
cool.
fuck,
Yeah, we
dude.
went to Salzburg
Austria's
in
cool as
Austria.
fuck. Yeah, we were in not Vienna, but Innsbruck.
Oh, Vienna. That's
Yeah,
where
we went to Innsbruck.
That's where we went. It was Vienna.
Yeah, Innsbruck was cool as fuck, dude. It was so cool, man. But the beer, spectacular.
Yeah.
Very cheap.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Beer, super
Dude, beer
cheap.
cheaper than water.
Super not
Fuck
good.
yeah, dude.
Not good?
Yeah.
No, it's mineral water.
Dude, not only that,
And
but
it costs
they're-
more than beer.
Yeah, their bottled water. Like they were bringing out a glass bottle, more expensive than a beer.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody fucking good.
It was either got beer or apple juice. They had fucking like apple juice on tap.
On tap.
You would
bro.
think that most
That
people have
apple
beer
juice on
bellies
tap.
out there.
Huh?
You would think that most people have beer bellies.
Dude, I know. Dude, a lot of
few,
people are in
but-
fucking shape over there,
Really?
man. Dude, when I went to
Yeah.
Italy, a lot of people were in shape. Like a lot.
It's
I was
probably just like the lack of fucking GMOs
Yeah,
and all the food.
yeah.
And like everything's prepared a lot more fresh.
More
Yeah,
fresh, yeah.
for
Just a
sure.
lot more fresh.
I'm gonna go pee real quick.
Let's take a
Yeah,
break.
go ahead.
I need
Yeah,
to
we
get a
take a break.
beer, so we'll take a break.
All right,
We'll
we're
be
back,
back.
guys.
Oh, we're back, baby.
Cheers,
break
guys.
time over.
Hydro flask.
Get in the flask.
Fuck yeah, dude.
So you was talking about the origins.
Yeah, I know we went on a big tangent there, but the origins, I think it's important. The reason I think the origins are so important is because this isn't the first thing I've tried. I've tried YouTube.
And not the origins of gambling, the origins of
The origins
how
of,
you got
of
into it.
how I
Yeah.
actually was able to have that mental capacity. Because some people will say, like, again, the whole lucky thing, you know, which is a term that I hate so much, but it's a true term in a sense of sometimes you do get lucky on certain things. Like,
Well, you got to be ready for the opportunities too.
exactly,
When
it's
you're lucky,
when opportunity meets timing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That and truly, you know, I have gotten lucky for the people I've met, but the origin story is so important to me because me and my brother grew up super poor. We didn't have anything, man. Like my parents did great, and like I had a net spots and stuff. Like don't get me wrong, like it wasn't like dirt poor, like no TV, nothing like that. But it was
We grew up the same way.
okay. So it was pretty hard. Like you know, we got a game system. My dad did the best he could. My mom did the best she could.
Same.
I love him to death. You know, never would change it. Never would change
Same.
it. But we didn't have we didn't grow up in the best conditions. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get too much into it, but
Sure.
we didn't have that really outlook of any other real way to go. And I don't want to say it was my brother's escape because I think he was passionate about the Air Force and stuff. Because you've seen all this. He did his own research. He loved history and stuff and all that. But
That's why he loved Iron Maiden.
exactly,
Right.
he
That doesn't
loved
surprise me,
history,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's so cool that he got to do what he really wanted to do. But that was what I call as an escape, and what I call as everyone's escape in a sense is like whatever you need to do to go out there and be the best version of yourself. That's your escape. Whether it
Right.
be so, his was the Air Force, his was the Citadel. Go to the Citadel, graduate the 4 years, do the whole thing. That was his escape. My escape, on the other hand, was still
in a
sit
different
my
way, yeah.
sit my ass in Williamston, work at Little Caesars, and get an apartment when I was 18 years old, making $7.25 an hour. That shit's hard.
I did the same.
You don't,
shit.
dude. You don't have any money to be blowing. I got in credit card debt when I was young. Buying like, I bought that car in 2014, and you know, it was such a big purchase for myself, and I think I was making $10 an hour at the time. It was so hard growing up like that and taking care of
right.
yourself, but it made you learn the value of money. And pretty much as I go through, this is what I meant by earlier when I said I was chasing money till 2 years ago. I jumped on any job that gave me more money. And the reason why is because I didn't have any money. Like even when I was making $10, that warehouse job, I got up to $14.50 an hour, which was Matt's pay at that warehouse job. And $14.50 an hour, I was just like, and I worked there for like a year and a half after that, and never got a raise again. And I was like, I got to figure out something
And it
else.
sounds so good at the time.
It
when you get
does.
like a
It
you get like a
does.
little $2-3. You go from like 7 to 14.
Dude.
You're like, dude, this is double
Exactly.
the pay.
And it's like I
This
used
is
to
amazing. Like I can finally like, you know, buy a little extra at the store.
Yep.
You know, I can get gas
Yeah, right.
money without having to worry about
Dude,
gas every week.
That's the thing is I remember putting in like my brother was the first one who gave me my first fucking car. Like he gave me an 02 Camaro, a V6 Camaro, and if it went for him, I wouldn't have had a car. Like and he told me he would sell it to me, but I had no money, so he essentially gave it to me money free, and then told me to pay him when he could, and I never could fucking pay him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like honestly, like if it went for him, I wouldn't have had a car for so long. But I remember going to the store and putting $2 in. Because all I had. I didn't have anybody to rely on. I didn't have anybody give me money. So, you know, putting in $2 in my gas tank just to get to work the next day, trying to get to Friday, and then, you know, going to the bank, cashing my check, and then my whole fucking check gone because I got rent and groceries
you
and
left
stuff.
with $30.
And so for someone who comes from no money, had no money, and all I did was chase money for the longest time, I think it's important because some people will look at where I'm at now and be like, "Oh, this motherfucker got lucky. He you know, he met these right people who gave him this." Dude, I
Right.
struggled for a long time by myself with no help. And, you know, the first thing I ever tried was that flip thing. That flipping on eBay. I did YouTube. I sold shirts. I did drop shipping. I don't know if you guys ever heard of drop shipping or not. It's where essentially you create a website on Shopify, and drop shipping is where you get stuff from China, and you don't ever have to touch the product. What you do is you give a funnel. You put that the product on a website. The person buys it. It gets essentially through your website. They buy it through your website. You mark it up, whatever. Like it could be like I did this one thing. It was like cat chains. It was like cat stuff, like pet things, like cat, dogs, all that. And it was like amulets for like a pet.
Bound for like $5, selling for like 15.
Exactly. That's what you would do. So
you would sell it on your store and then buy it and ship it to their address.
Exactly. But I would never have to touch the product. So would buy from them in China and then ship to them 2 weeks later. Bro, I tried so much shit because all I cared about was money. And of course, like I wasn't fucking people over. Like I made sure they got their products and stuff and
I know that.
all that. But like it was just everything I could think of. I was building websites. I was coding. I was learning all this stuff off of YouTube. I learned everything. I have a YouTube degree.
YouTube is such a beautiful.
It is underrated. People think you need that $20,000 in debt to learn anything, dude. You can learn so much
there.
online.
You can. I remember like the little like my card windows wouldn't go down. They were like fucking up, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee, windows fucking up, but the one will slide down. I pull it up. It's like, the little wire between the door panels is like a little worn out from shutting
and Luker came and fucking fixed it.
And I was like, oh my God, this. Okay. Oh, like you could learn like very specific little small things on YouTube that was like so beneficial. Dude. Back in the day, like I remember. Sorry, not to go on a tangent here, but Heather and I last night we were watching Netflix and came across Rugrats, which was one of my all-time favorite cartoons. Scooby-Doo and Rugrats are like my favorite. Maybe like Hey Arnold and some other shit after that. But we're watching it, and it's like early days cartoons, like choppy, very like very low budget. No filter on it. But and I'm like, oh man, it fucked with me. How the nostalgia fucked with me, but shit, I forgot where I was going with that. What were we just talking about?
Learning stuff on YouTube. Your window wouldn't go down.
Oh,
you and Heather was watching TV. Netflix.
Damn, I forgot where I was going with that, with the Rugrats situation. But honestly, but on a different note, the whole we're going back and watching some of that nostalgia Rugrats was like it kind of fucked with me a little bit. I was like, oh my God, this feels so weird. Just kind of, it was honestly one of the first times I felt old.
Yeah.
Damn. I was like, and honestly, I'm not I'm not an old person at heart. Like I'm very active. For sure. I'll go to fucking heavy metal shows and Mosh in the Pit and fucking crowd surf. Like I'm fucking very active.
Yeah.
But like last night, I forgot where I was going with the whole Rugrats thing. But last night Rugrats, when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, the nostalgia hit me a little too hard.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is.
I heard a little bit.
It hurt a little bit. It was creepy. It creeped me out.
Yeah.
I was like, this is very weird.
Yeah.
Watching that shit, I was like, this is so weird. But yeah, I forgot where I was going. Sorry.
But I do love that. Okay. I feel like me and you do have that same kind of aspect where we're both kind of like grinding and trying to find that thing.
You try to find the thing that sticks.
But not only that, it's just like it's enjoyable to learn all this shit.
It is.
It's so fun to learn a whole bunch of different shit, like and have a little bit of knowledge and everything.
It is, dude. Throwing darts at a board. Like, have you ever heard the terminology paralysis by analysis? Mm-mm. Okay, so essentially the terminology paralysis by analysis is you're waiting for the perfect moment. It's what people do with kids a lot of times. They wait for the perfect time with kids.
From this right now.
Yeah, so it's just you're waiting for the perfect time, but there is never going to be
perfect
the same
time.
Thing with this podcast. If you guys would have waited till you had the best mics, the best headsets, the best camera, the best this, you would have never. You would have never started like developing what you have now a year later. Like if you would have just kept waiting. Let's say it would have took 3 years to get the best shit to save up the money for the best stuff. Then you never would have got started. See, starting with something that's small and just going and just starting, throwing darts at a board and seeing what sticks is gonna help you so much more in the future. It's called paralysis by analysis, and so many people get that because they want to wait for the perfect time. There is no perfect. Never. Right. There's never a perfect time.
And I tell myself that. Because we're talking, we're in talks of having a child now. But the reason why I was talking about the Rugrats thing earlier was because they would their YouTube was just like reading books.
Yeah,
like in the show Rugrats, they like the parents they like the first episode is like Tommy Pickles. He wakes up in the crib and it's happy birthday, Tommy. Like that's the opening, and they are like he's like a newborn, and they are like going to like this big shelf of books to like learn how to feed the baby. And I'm like, oh my God, YouTube, that is our YouTube. Like, we don't have to read any books.
That was some profound shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, we can just But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting last night when I was watching. I was like, oh shit, like that was their YouTube back in the day. It was just like a shelf of books.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Fucking encyclopedias.
Or like your family members who did it before you. That's all you had. And then now YouTube is like, it helps you out so much, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, man. But like that terminology has been around for what I've done so long, because I thought it was always just like a real, like it was a real thing. Like it was never a perfect time. So like to lead on to all that origin of I've tried again so much shit. I've tried so many things that never really stuck, and I don't look at them as failures. I didn't make a ton of money on them, but I learned so much, and I tried. So when I found this, it was in the future, and I looked at YouTube, and I found a YouTube channel. So if anybody's interested, and again, I don't want to be responsible for an addicted gambler, but if anyone's ever interested in what card counting is and what it isn't, go to Blackjack Apprenticeship on YouTube. They have everything you need for free to learn how to do this and to make it a living. Issue is most people won't do it because it's a lot of fucking work. It's a lot of training. But I found that YouTube channel, and I remember, dude, I binge watched their videos. I mean, over a course of days, I watched all videos they had, every single one. Some of them 20 minutes long. And I watched all of it, and I was like, you know what? Like, I could try this. I could probably do it. I think I'm smart enough, So I started training, and I got the card counting app. There's an app for $4 on Apple. I think it's on Google too, or like on the Google Play Store, I think. And that app will tell you when you do something wrong. You need a feedback loop. If you had a deck of cards here, I could count through it in 30 seconds. It doesn't mean shit because you don't have a feedback loop. Just because you can count through a deck of cards. By the way, every deck of cards ends up to be 0, by the way, just so you know. Every deck of cards will be 0. What do you mean by that? So it means every 52 cards in a deck will end up to, the count will be 0 at the end. Okay. There's an even amount, pretty much is what I'm saying. So every single deck.
Positives and negatives, I guess.
Positives and negatives, exactly. Yeah. So that's why it's positive. That's why you can beat Blackjack, is because those cards sometimes let's say you're playing a one deck game, the front can be loaded with small cards, which is good for you because when you bet higher, you're going to get more 20s and 21s, and the dealer's going to bust more.
Because like the front half is definitely going to sway it either way. Like if you shuffle a deck, it's either going to be very heavy positive, very heavy negative at the beginning of the deck. Yep. So do you like hover over a table and watch it a little bit before, or do you like always take on fresh tables? Like what's your strategy when you enter a table?
So that's called back counting, and they play with 6 decks. So you can't get in the middle. Like if you're walking up to a table and they're in the middle of a shoe, I ask for a shuffle. I'm not playing because you don't know. You don't know what's been dealt already.
That makes sense.
You can't just start counting in the middle of a shoe and think because that's 6 decks of cards all shuffled into a big deck of cards.
See, I didn't know the rules. Like I didn't know as soon as you sit down, there's always like a reshuffle.
No.
Like
so I'll wait. So if I walk up to a table and they say I can't get a reshuffle, I'll wait. I'll just fucking wait till somebody comes and plays it all. Yeah. I'm not playing a negative game. I do not go in the casino to play. I go in the casino to win. There's a huge difference.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't go to play blackjack. I'm not there to play blackjack and have fun. I don't drink. Again, I do not drink. I don't do anything until I'm done. Because it's serious. It's a business. It is not to have fun. It's fun just by byproduct. It's fun because that's a byproduct of doing what I do. Exactly. And it's fun to win. Honestly, when you lose, I mean, you're still in there and you're interacting with these people and you're doing that. And so even when you have a bad day, you can go back to your hotel and be like, I lost, whatever. But it comes with time and it comes with experience, But anyways, that YouTube channel honestly changed my life. I mean, I did that, and I remember I was downstairs with Heidi. I was sitting there talking to her, and I was like, hey, I think I'm going to buy this membership to this website. And it was a forum. And it was $299, something I really didn't have. And I put it on my credit card.
That's a lot of money.
I put it on my credit card, bro. I was like, I don't really have it, so I put it on my Discover. And I was like, if it's a scam, I'll just say it was a scam. Get my money back. Yeah. Dude.
You got robbed. Yeah.
If I never took that risk and took that $300 risk, I wouldn't be where I'm at. 100,000% I can say that.
You sit and think about that.
Oh, I do.
And does it fuck with you a little bit?
It does, because
Because that's one small decision.
Do you know how easy it was? Dude, I was fucking broke. Like, people don't, like, again, people think, like, some people see me now, and they think, like, I just always had this. Like, I remember when I met my buddy, one of my buddies who I'll get into in a minute with this origin story, who never could have saw me growing up poor, who never could have saw me struggling, because I presented myself in a way to where I didn't seem so...
Which is what a lot of
people
do.
You're very articulate.
Yeah.
And even whenever you craft a sentence, it's very meticulous.
Yeah,
I try
to actually think what I'm saying, you know. Yeah. And I'm kind of ADD, so I really try to, like, make sure that I don't go off on too many tangents.
Fast processor.
Yeah. I try my hardest to think, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, if I never took that risk, I would never be where I'm at. And so when I bought that, when I bought that website, I remember I went upstairs, man, I got obsessed, completely obsessed. I mean, the stuff on that website was incredible. The training you get on that website was incredible. The people you get to talk to were incredible. People who's been doing it for years. Been being in the casino for years and living the life they wanted to live. So I strove for that. I was like, I gotta get there.
And so what do you gain out of, like, having people come along? I know you said, like, the thing about, like, obviously going on the road by yourself has got to fucking suck. That's miserable as fuck. But miserable. Like, so, like, obviously you get that companionship and you get to, like, bring them there and, like, see them fucking win and be good at it and make that money. But what else do you, like, what do you gain, like, as far as for just yourself? Like, is there anything else?
You talking about bringing people in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, to be honest, like I said before, the money is good, but it's not fulfilling.
Sure.
Bringing friends on who have, I wouldn't say no direction, because I do believe, like, everyone has a sense of direction of where they're going. But to bring someone in who hates their job, who is miserable every day, who doesn't get to spend as much time with his kid as he wants, you know, somebody like Steven, to bring him in on this and to essentially show him, like, hey, there's a different way. You don't have to work 40 hours a week. And, like, his job made him work on the weekends. Like, it wasn't a choice.
I've been there.
Like, it wasn't a fucking choice. Like, you know, so when he had to go and work those weekends, you know, I don't want to speak for him. I don't really know what his thought process was through the whole thing. But for me, it's more fulfilling to bring a friend in and show them, hey, man, there's a different way. You can make money and make more money for yourself than you can for this company, who's not going to give you shit, who you have to put in 30 years for just for them to give you a retirement.
And also shit on the casino. That's also pretty cool, too.
Shit on the casino is cool because it's kind of like Robin Hood. We're giving back to ourselves, because, like, you know, like, we're not giving back to the poor like Robin Hood did, but essentially giving back to
ourselves.
Yeah, giving back to yourself and, like, taking money from essentially the wretches of evil, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
Is a lot more fulfilling in a sense than working a brainless job on a line.
Is this the most mentally healthy you've been?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life by far. There's not even a time that comes close. And I've went through my own personal problems, you know. Like, I got obsessed with this life. And where I was kind of going with that, with the obsession with this website and training, was I got obsessed. I mean, it got close to ruining my relationship, because to have a partner who's mentally strong as well, and to be able to support you when you're not there, you're going on these trips, you know, it was a big thing where she felt like I was living my life without her, because I was out there.
See that.
I was out there doing my thing. And see, the issue is too, not a lot of people know what a casino life is like. Some people hear what I do and they think, oh, he's out there partying, drinking, going to clubs after. Dude, it ain't like that.
You're sitting in the fucking hotel room, wiping your tears with your money.
Yeah. When I was by myself, I was, bro. That's the thing, is it's not.
God damn you, Bernice. God damn you, Bernice.
Yeah. It really isn't like that. And people think that you're out there and you're doing this crazy shit, but in reality,
does she go with you ever?
She did in the past. Yeah, she went with me in the past and she saw it. I think it gave her a better perspective.
That's cool. How annoyed is she at first when you wouldn't stop talking about it?
Oh, dude, it drove her fucking crazy. Because okay, and you know, I'll fast forward a bit.
Because I can just imagine the passion.
Yeah, like dude. I mean, when you're passionate about something, you can't shut the fuck up.
Stop talking.
And you
about
annoy
it.
everyone who talks to you. So no one wants to talk to you.
They can't get it,
dude, because they can't
get it.
They can't understand. And you know how many times I've used that sentence to her, and she fucking hated it, bro.
What, the fact like you don't understand?
You don't understand.
Yeah.
I fucking understand. You know, bro.
I
like,
love
she
this
hated
shit.
That.
You
Yeah.
really don't understand.
Yeah, and the truth is,
That's me with martial arts. You really don't understand.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with people not understanding, but they almost took it as a diss.
Yeah,
when you
right.
tell somebody they don't understand, they're like, "Oh, well,
they get defensive.
Yeah, I ain't smart enough to understand."
You don't understand
It's
what
like,
it
no,
feels
no.
like.
Yeah, when you're passionate about something, and you feel like this is your way out of a traditional life, you know, and that was my way out. So let me see here. So after the whole YouTube thing, let me just because I don't want to miss any parts because a lot of this stuff is very important to the reason I'm successful now. And so once I found that website, I trained a ton. I'm an obsession, complete obsession. I was at work in my work truck, just like training. Making sure I could keep the count in my head, making sure that I was making the right bets, because the app was a feedback loop. So if you did anything wrong,
it would let you know.
It would let you know.
It would give you a little.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would pop up error, and it would tell you what you did wrong. I still have the app on my
And
phone.
people usually
to
use this
day.
time to look up
Fucking YouTube videos and shit, and
of
Twitch.
dumb shit. Like,
They don't care.
They don't care. They have
No.
nothing that they're working for.
No.
Nothing that they're working towards.
You know what we do now at work?
He used this time to perfect something that would
To
benefit-
learn.
Yes,
to make
exactly.
your brain.
That's,
Yes.
that's what we do right
Beautiful,
now with
man.
like how to make our bodies better.
Yes.
We're researching all these like supplements and like foods and how it affects your body and all this stuff and like what you can do differently
Dude,
to do this and this and.
Look, man, so many people are unhappy where they're at. So many. And people
yeah, I
won't
can
even
think of a
show
few.
you.
I can
People
think
will
of a
not
few.
even show you. They're unhappy with the money they make. They're unhappy with the life they can give their kids. They're unhappy with what they can give their wife. But guess what they do every weekend? They go and party. They go fishing. They
They look for the escape.
Dude, they watch complete seasons of fucking House of Cards downstairs when in reality, you could be doing something to better yourself.
People don't chase what they want to be, dude.
They get into the rhythm
And the system
of Monday through
creates
Friday.
it.
And that's true, though. Like, anytime, it all comes from self-accountability. That's truly what it is.
I'm getting
Dude,
motivated over here.
It comes from self-accountability, truly.
It does.
And if you can't hold yourself accountable, dude, you know how many times I've heard yeah, man, one day when I fucking have this big house and a yacht, and I'm like, bro, you work. Yeah, you work at a warehouse job. Do you think it's just gonna fall in your lap? You have to be doing something different.
Yeah.
You can. The definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome. Do you really think you're gonna get to live, fucking financially free and do whatever you want to and be your own boss if you just continuously work the same job?
Yeah,
over
you'll
and
get
over?
there in 300 years.
Yeah, exactly. You'll get there after you put
200
in
years.
The whole thing is designed for us to work our good life away. And what I mean by that is our good health, our 20s and 30s
true.
and 40s and 50s is designed to work it away, to completely take away all your good health. And guess what? You get to retire at 55 or 60 or 61.
Now I can't do anything because I'm
guess
crippled.
Yeah, your life's almost fucking over.
Yeah.
So
the check engine light's
that's
been on
the
for
whole
15,
point.
20 years.
Exactly. That's the whole point of, and what I get across is that if you're happy, good for you. I'm for people living their life and being happy.
Life
at a
is
job.
all about mental peace, man.
Exactly.
And being happy.
Dude, if you're supplying for your kids and you're happy, you have no gripes. You are so happy with your life. I ain't talking to you. You do your thing.
But if
you
you
be
are
you.
looking for
But
a
if you are
purpose-
fucking miserable, do what you want to do. Like, bro, there's only one of these lives here. Like, we're gonna die.
Yo.
Okay? Everyone needs to know that. Yeah. Like a
Cheers
version
to
of
that,
YOLO.
guys. Cheers
Yeah.
to that, guys.
to
Yeah,
YOLO.
man. You
Cheers
have
to YOLO.
you have to be happy. You do. But I do want to say, so after I got the whole subscription to that membership, there was a guy on there, and his name was Deep Grits.
Deep Grits.
That was the forum name. And
I'm suddenly hungry.
I remember seeing it, bro.
I've been
and I was like,
hungry.
this guy's got to be Southern as fuck like me. You know what I mean? Like seeing that name, I was like, Deep Grits.
Deep Grits.
So he held a East Coast meetup. And what that was a Blackjack meetup for everybody who's card counting. And it was to get associated with people. When you're someone like me and someone like everyone, first people I've told about that were like, oh, bro, you sure you can get fucking robbed? You know, like people are all like, scared because you meet
are
people,
skeptical.
dude. People,
man.
meeting people online is scary, right? You don't know
sure.
who you're gonna
Yeah, for
meet,
sure.
and I do think people should always be aware of that. But I was like, fuck it, it's a paywall. It's behind a $300 paywall, so I was like, it's very unlikely that someone paid $300 just to
Rob you.
scam a bunch of
Yeah.
people. Yeah, because like a lot of these people were new; they didn't have a lot of money either. So I went to this meetup, and dude, if it wasn't for this, it would have I wouldn't be where I'm at, pretty much. No chance. So I said, fuck it, and decided to risk it. And I had to go on a work day. So I worked like fucking 10 hours and then drove all the way up to Cherry. I mean, dude, it was like a fucking 18-hour day for me. I was so tired. But I got up there, and I remember I was at the little property in Murphy, Valley River. And a guy reached out to me. And we'll just call him, let's call him Kyle. Because I'm not even close to his real name, but
he drank Monsters.
That'll work. Yeah, I just don't want to name him because I got him watching this podcast. I'm going to get him to watch this, by the way. And I told him I was going to mention him.
We'll call him Mr. Pink.
Yeah, there you go.
Mr.
There you
Pink.
go. Okay,
Maybe Mr. Blue.
Yeah,
because you're Mr. fucking Pink.
Yeah, right.
All right,
Mr. Pink.
Yeah, Mr. Pink. All right, so he reached out to me and said, "Hey, man, are you in Valley River?" I said, "Yeah." It's okay. This is when I started with $3,000. Keep in mind, I'm already trained at this point. I'm already starting to count, and I'm just going on the weekend when I'm off. Well, my days changed, so I had off Friday, Saturday, but I had to work Sunday through Thursday, right? For vendor, because vendor days,
Yeah, it changed, for sure.
Yeah, you work in a weird way. So I went up there, and I went to this little small property, started counting, double my bankroll within 3 months or so. So I went from $3,000 to $6,000. So all I dedicated.
So you're doing something right.
Yeah. So I dedicated $3,000, by the way. If I'd have lost the $3,000, I'd have quit. Just to let everyone know. Like, if I would have lost the $3,000, I would have quit. 100%. Of
course.
That's all I had to dedicate to it, though. I got my taxes back.
And in a way, if you would have went on that, like, 100 and whatever it was hours straight out the go, which would be odds are you're going to go, if you're going to have a bad streak, it would be when you don't know
100%.
shit. So it's odds are when you enter that, you're going to have a bad streak from the beginning because you don't know as much.
Exactly.
So you would have that loss at the beginning, quit, get out. That was bullshit.
I would have been done.
I got scammed, whatever.
That's exactly what I would have done.
Do you think that if you did go, like, say that does happen, or say you didn't spend the $300, you didn't download that app or whatever the fuck it was, do you think that you would have found some success in the same level of success in something else?
I do. So I don't want to say that I wouldn't, but I'd still be working. Right now, I'd still be working.
Right. And still looking for that.
Yep, I'd still be looking. I would have never given up. I didn't give up, dude. All of my little, I guess you could call past businesses have failed. I mean, again, I don't look at them as failures, but for the lamest terms, people say failed. I don't look at them in that way. I look at them as learning experiences.
Dude, I almost feel. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just like a mindset. Like, when things don't work out, people like to say, "Oh yeah, I failed at that," or this. But
failure's not a bad thing.
It's not.
Like, you did fail. I'm not afraid to say that. Like, I use the word failure.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that is a failed business, but that's not. It's not bad that you failed.
No, it's a learning experience, and the reason I like to say that more than a failure is because a failure normally looks at as a case closed. That you failed. That's it.
Yeah, right.
But if you say learning experience, it's like, okay, it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, but you learned.
What can you make good out of it? Like, what can you get positive out of that?
What can you take from the failure?
Exactly.
And
that's the words I was looking for.
So like just a black and white failure, people normally just like to put them in those, either you succeeded or you failed.
Yeah, but it's not that.
It's not that.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of gray area there.
I remember the guy Mr. Pink messaged me and said, "Hey, are you here?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude." And I've never met another car counter in my life, so I'm like fucking nervous. Like, who is this guy gonna be? A guy one of my best friends now. Honestly, we talk every week, and I remember I saw him. And I was like, this guy's in a fucking sweater vest, and
looking like a used car salesman,
like a motherfucking nerd, bro. And he's gonna hear this, and it's just gonna be so funny because I've told him first time I saw him, he looked like a damn nerd.
I love it.
And he's like, I'm really extroverted, which means I can have a conversation with anyone. Like I'm not big introvert. I'm not very awkward.
We're the same way.
So I remember I met him. And I talked to him. He said, "How you doing?" And I was, dude. He had that fucking sweater vest. I still remember because it was nice as shit. Bro. I was like, I could see myself.
I'm trying to
have.
I could see myself wearing that
I'm
shit.
I'm sitting here in a fucking.
I'm trying to have sweater vest money.
I got a fucking big Kahuna shirt and jogging pants on and slippers, bro. And he's in a fucking sweater vest with some shoes on.
Yeah, right. Fuck yeah, dude. I could go for a big.
But so I talked to him and he's like, "How you doing?" And I was like, "Man, I'm doing really good. I'm up like 300 a day." Again, this is back when I first started. So any bit of money I was up was like more than when I was making it work. I was still working, right? I look at him, dude. I was like, "How you doing?"
How you doing?
He was like, "Oh, I was at the big property. I won $57,000 last night, bro." I looked at him,
and your dick got hard and then soft.
Little
so fast.
Blood rush to your
dude,
penis.
I
got hard, finished,
I got
soft.
I got that fucking
Instantly.
tickle. I got that tickle, and I was like, what? Like, what the fuck? We mean 50? Like, you mean 5,700? Like, that's what I was like thinking.
You just misspoke.
Dude, he showed me on his phone.
You showed me a check stuff for $57,000.
I'll quit my fucking job right now, bro. Dude,
yes.
You're Jonah Hill. You're fucking Jonah Hill, dude.
Thinking. But he showed it to me on the picture.
Now he's Leo and I'm Jonah Hill right
Dude.
now.
Yeah.
Dude.
Now you're Leo. We're Jonah Hill.
Yeah. Dude, I turned into Leo quick, bro. But no, he showed me and I was like, no fucking way. And we hit it off, man. He was an introvert in a sense, but he got really comfortable around me really quick. He was really cool, really nice guy. And and I was talking to him a bit, and I was like, man, like, this cool guy. We exchanged phone numbers, and I was like, well, I got to bounce. I got to work in the morning, I had fucking work Monday morning. This is on Sunday. Go home. Before I even get home, I get a text message from him. You ever thought about working under an investor? And I was like,
this is some kind of scam. Like,
that's exactly,
I'm a little
bro.
wary.
Is it either is this a scam or is this motherfucker part of the Russian mafia or something, bro? Like, I got kind of nervous, like working under his money. And I remember when he texted me this, he said, "It seems like you have the skills. Your problem is you don't have the bankroll." Which means I don't. The more money you have in this, the more money you. Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, dude. The more money. So I do want to put it out there. The more money you have, the more money you can make. It's just is what it is.
Interesting.
And so I remember.
So what do you mean by like, say, if you was to influence? Okay, what would be a starting point in money that you would influence somebody to?
Bro, I would never start with $3,000. I had dude, my risk of ruin was like 27%. Like, so everything's done off calculations. Dude, I wouldn't start like for that. I would make sure that you're okay with losing what you start with. So when I started with 3,000,
what would you recommend someone?
Dude, it's really hard.
I know. It's hard.
Because
it's all relative.
All right. Well, in that moment, what do you wish you should? If you could go back, how much would you start with?
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
So if I could go back,
give your past self advice.
If I could go back, I would have probably waited till I got 10,000. Honestly,
okay.
Because it would have given me.
Why?
The reason why is because it would have given me the ability to make more money. So I doubled my bankroll. So if you put it in terms of 3,000 to 6,000, and you take that 3,000, turn it into 10,000,
you're making 20. You're at 20.
Exactly.
Grand,
How much can you turn 10,000 into?
I mean, you can infinite. To be honest, infinite. Yeah.
But let's say in a month, or like in a couple weeks.
It all depends on how much you work. So everything is based off hours. Like I said before,
I'm
round for
asking a lot
hour
of
things. It's real hard to
questions
say
that are
because
hard to answer,
you've had those people out there who take fucking $2,000. Like, one of the biggest teams out there was named the church team, and it was a church, like, no shit, a fucking bass player from a church who recruited his vocal player from a church and was like, this isn't gambling, this is investing, because we know we have the odds. Dude, they turned their team from one $2,000 bankroll, dude, millions of dollar bankroll.
But is that just like the exception of the people who try to gamble, or like, is that just like a small percentage of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it is a small percentage.
That's not the norm.
No, it's not the normal. You hear those stories and they motivate you. But the normal is, man, you go through a lot of trials and tribulations to get there. You do get lucky. I mean, there of course, luck plays a part in it. But variance always comes back around. And what I mean by that is, for every big win you have to remember a big loss is coming. It doesn't infinitely be big wins.
Over time, the process will work.
Yeah.
That random number generator, baby.
Yep. You get that RNG for armor chest plate, you might not be getting another one for about 2,000 kills. You could, you know what I mean?
But then you might get 4 back to back. You never know.
Exactly.
So you're telling me, exactly, like, you're going to have to put the time in, and during the time you're going to have losses,
of course,
and the losses might come early.
Yep.
But you got to ride that way.
Exactly. See,
but the process is going to work.
It's going to work out, dude. People still don't like to believe this. People will still sit here, and again, some people still think I'm just an addicted gambler who got my friends to start gambling and turning them.
I don't believe that,
dude. But the people who believe that, I don't judge them.
You have math. You have a very concrete math that backs all this shit.
I have an Excel sheet.
Is there something that separates? Because there's going to be listeners who don't know Steven, who don't know Chris, who don't know you. Mm-hmm. Is there something that separates the three of you from a common person as far as like being able to handle numbers, being able to handle just common,
No, not at all. Not at all. See, the reason I think that they're so successful, and again, this kind of like honestly goes against the humility thing I was talking about, because I've spent so much time with them. The reason that people, I think, can go off the deep end and start gambling and become a gambling addict is because they don't have a good teacher. I've dedicated the time that I spend with them to make sure they know, like, hey, This is the right way to do it. This is the wrong way to do it. If you do anything outside of this way to do it, you are wrong. Doesn't matter if you, like, for example, this one time, I caught Steven doing something what he's supposed to be doing. It's a difficult conversation because you have to sit there and you tell him, hey, what are you doing?
And that's not only like not necessarily an employee, like you employ
no,
them, but like that's in a way. But that's
like a mentor.
There's personal feelings towards a close friend.
Yeah, because I'm not their boss. I want to put that out there. I'm not their boss. Now, I think,
and you haven't made it. You haven't made
no,
it. No,
of course. I just want to make sure, like, I am not their leader. I'm not there is certain things that I have that they don't have as far as, like,
for sure.
Yeah, experience and then connections. I have a ton
You're
of
trying
connections.
to set them up and make sure they're
I want them to be successful. And having a difficult conversation, like if I started seeing one of them slip, I could have it because I don't shy away from that shit. Like if you're doing something, because when we're a team, guess what? You ain't just using your money. We're using team money.
Now, when you talk about a team and team money, like, so there's the three of you. You're going to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how does that whole process work as far as a team and team money go?
So the way it works is it doesn't matter how much we take. It has nothing to do with how much you take. So let's say I take $10,000, right? And I'm going on the road with $10,000, and I go, and one of them has $2,000, the other one has $5,000. Let's just say for layman's terms. We have $17,000 as a team, right?
That's us, layman's.
Yeah. Layman's terms. So we have $17,000 as a team. It has nothing to do with the amount of money we take. It has everything to do with how much money we put in. So when me and Chris did it, he wasn't in a position to take what I could take, which means he didn't have the money to play what I could play.
Okay.
So we were solo. But now that we're a team, full-fledged team pretty much, here's how it goes. If we take something, we all take a percentage of it. So if we find something, we will play, find a good game, right? Like a good blackjack game, we'll play, and they get a percentage of the win based on the percentage they're willing to risk. So if they're willing to risk 25% of whatever we bet, then they get 25% of the win. So if I say I want 50%, that leaves 25% left over. The other person gets 25%. So I take higher percentages because I've been doing it longer and I have bigger bankroll.
Right. So say if someone wanted to get going and they like Chris invested like $10,000.
Yeah.
Into the team or
the
whatever.
advantage play. Yeah.
Yeah. What would be the situation that would play out as far as that goes? Say he had a bad night, but invested $10,000.
So I could put it this way. The worst night I've ever had, I lost about $6,000.
Was this in the 180, 160, whatever it was, hour losing streak?
178 hours.
Yeah,
was it during that time?
Yeah, I lost $6,000 in a night, and I remember that night I got drunk, and I remember I was like, that fucking sucked. But what I call a mental reset is a sleep. And I always call it a mental reset because you leave the casino.
I've slept since then.
Dude.
Robert Critchlow, shout out.
Dude, you do not.
Nice.
You do not.
I've slept since then.
You don't stay in a casino when you're in a bad mental state. So we leave.
Because you'll make bad decisions.
Not only bad decisions. I'm pretty disciplined. You know, I don't gamble.
I'm not a Brian is too.
At the end of the day, I'm not a gambler. I don't fucking
I'm not
gamble.
either. I don't
give a shit about a chance. I care about what's supposed
odds,
to come.
Yeah,
odds. I'm a big odds guy. I'm a big math guy.
Yeah, for sure.
So leave the casino. You wake up the next day, man. You feel better. Like, dude, trust me, losing $6,000 fucking
well, it's like
sucks.
playing a video game and you're dying to the boss over and over and over. And then you go to bed and you wake up first try.
It's like doing the fucking dude. It's like doing the fucking Inferno cape for me. It took me fucking dude. It took me
cape?
Yeah, dude. It took me 9 attempts.
Good for you.
And it took me a full fucking week. It shit sucked because I kept dying. But anyways. Anyway,
I
had Tebow Missouri, bro. Like straight up.
Doesn't fucking count.
But anyways,
he bought it with all his lottery money.
yeah. No. But so like that little mental reset right there is what. But it's the wins that really always keep you motivated, you know. And I don't want to say my biggest win. I've had some really big wins. So in a night and like,
what's the biggest you brought home?
In a night
Where you
or
was
like in a weekend?
Like blood rushes to your penis, hard dick. I'm happy. Let's take some shots. Chris Harris like, whoa, let's go.
I don't.
You know Chris. You know how Chris is.
That's like $10 for Chris.
Yeah, Chris is gonna be
Chris
like,
is like, as long as I get a profit, I'm good.
But you know, Chris will hype you up when you had a big night.
Dude, Chris is a good hype man. I ain't gonna lie.
He is.
But I've taken home for one single night, like it was like 4 hours, and I've taken home 5 figures. I'll put it at that. I ain't gonna say the exact, but I've taken home 5 figures, and and it was really good. And I've got, and again, this is where
have you done that multiple times?
Yeah, 5 figures multiple times in a night. And I'll use the word lucky for that because, the skill is there, but I've gotten lucky to win that much.
Like you've like been beating the odds even more than you should.
Exactly.
Instead of being
more
like
than I
52%, you're fucking 75%. And you're like,
Woo!
woo.
What's
100%.
the difference between you and Dan Bilzerian?
Oh, Dan.
Obviously, he plays poker.
Yeah, Dan Brazilian, number 1, plays poker, but number 2, he's got a lot of daddy's money. So he to be having all that money, like if you can, that's what I'm saying. Like if you can start with a large sum of money.
But like I said,
made a lot of money.
Wouldn't it be terrible to start out with a large sum of money because you're dumb?
You wouldn't be grinding.
You're ignorant.
Yeah, you wouldn't be grinding. See, that's why I trained 200 hours before I stepped foot in a casino because I didn't have any money. So
Makes
to have
sense.
$3,000, I got my taxes back. Like this is how, like
You took your taxes to the casino,
so
baby.
This is why I want to portray this.
They thought he was in a midlife crisis.
Dude, this is why everyone thought I was
Balling.
going crazy.
Yeah.
This is why I want to portray that I'm a normal fucking dude. I'm a normal guy. I got my taxes back, and I used that money to try to better myself. I didn't use that money for a fucking boat. I didn't use that money to go out and go on fucking Disney.
For the motherfucking Gucci
dude,
purse.
yeah, I
Gucci
don't give
All
a
right,
fuck.
hold on now. Hold on.
Stop.
Yeah, it's like I didn't give a fuck about all that, man. I just wanted to better myself and put me in a position to win. That's all I cared about. And so
love it, dude.
And so I know we went off on a huge tangent there, but because I was on the thing about when I got home. And so when I got home that night from Mr. Pink texting me saying, "Hey, Dad, I want to work an investor," I was like, I talked to all my friends, all of them. I was like,
But you think this motherfucker's trying to lie?
Yeah, this guy's talking about investing. I don't know how much. At this time, I had no idea how much. The meetup was 2 weeks later, so we went to the meetup, and they had a professional there who's been doing it 5+ years. He's like, "I want to test you out." Okay, so we were in this meeting room, not in a casino. It was a meeting room. It was like a off place. I don't know. Let's just fucking say Hampton Inn hotel. They have like, they have like a little meeting room sometimes, like in the lobby and stuff. We were there, dude. We were there just training, just training with cards and blackjack felt and chips and everything. So we played, and I remember him was like, "Hey, can you go to Cherokee? I want to test you out." That's what the professional said, not Mr. Pink, a different guy. And I was like,
Mr. Brown.
Yeah, I'll say Mr. Brown. And I had to fucking work. So I was like, fuck, I guess, because I knew the opportunity was there. And again,
For sure.
luck is when opportunity meets
You gotta
timing.
be ready for that opportunity.
Yeah, dude. So I was like, I'm going to do it. So I went. He tested me out. I tested out perfect. And then he was like, "Hey, man, meet me at the food court." I was like, okay. Went to the food court. And that conversation, man, changed everything for me. I talked to him.
This changes everything.
It did. It truly did. And he was like, "Hey, I think I'm going to invest." And I was like, "How much?" And he was like, "How about $10,000?" And I've never even fucking seen $10,000.
And you start air humping
dude,
like a dog.
Yeah,
trying
it
to
was like
fucking find
instant,
a way.
dude. The fucking boner was like, you know what I mean? Like it was because I was like, number one, I don't even know you. I've met this guy 3 times. Keep in mind, I need everybody to understand that I met this guy.
This dude hates the casino that much.
Yeah,
he's like,
dude.
"Oh yeah, how about we fucking stick it?" That's sticking it to
Dude,
the man.
3
He's giving
times.
some fucking
So what
broke
does he
dude
have to
10 grand.
benefit off of?
He gets a
investing?
percentage.
Okay.
So-
Now, is that what you set up with, like, guys like Chris and Steven? Do you set up a percentage? Or
Not
like,
exactly for them. I showed them for free.
Yeah, those are your boys.
Yeah, those are my boys. I don't give a fuck about the money.
Okay.
Like they
you
wanted
got
to,
the money.
huh? Dude, it's honestly that's what I'm saying. Like people don't like. I know that sounds so douchey, bro, but it's true.
It's easy for him to say because he did take his fucking tax money.
Dude,
and
I
did this shit.
I took that fucking risk
Gotta
that
have that
million
money.
people, many people aren't willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
But no, like he wound up investing $10,000, and I remember he formed a contract, and the split was very lucrative for me. And this is how I just like knew this guy was a good person.
So you just like signed the contract?
So essentially, a web signature.
Like,
And the contract was this. Here's the contract.
Okay.
Let me explain the contract. Contract was this: 65-35, which means I get 65% of the profit. I only had to invest $4,000. I had $6,000. So $3,000 to $6,000 was my money. So I had $6,000. He had $10,000. He invested $10,000. I invest $4,000. He was such a nice guy that he said, "Hey, keep some money, keep 2,000 just in case this doesn't work out. This is how nice this guy was. This is why it all seems so skeptical. Because I was like, dude, no one just gives people 10. Like, you've barely met me. You don't know who I am. I could scam you. I could take your money and run. He didn't care.
What do you think he saw to make him invest $10,000?
Look, man, this is where I try to say, like, again, I stay humble. But
is this like some fate? This is some like.
I think he just saw
the Holy Lord. What is this? Like,
I think he almost saw what you saw, the passion, the amount that I was willing to take and risk, the amount that I was working after my I was working 50 hours a week and then going to gamble on the side. So I was working nonstop. I had no time off. I didn't spend any time with friends. I didn't spend barely any time with Heidi. Which is why I think our relationship came to that very narrow crossroads. Yeah, it was a tough time. And it's because I was obsessed. I was obsessed with making this work. Still are. I love it. More of a passion.
I hear the same passion I heard.
Dude, because it's...
in your voice now that I heard in that Discord back when I was at my apartment.
Yeah, man.
Playing on my laptop.
That's been fucking 2 years. That's insane.
Yes, 2 years ago. I remember this moment because I was like, oh, this dude is like... he's bought in. Whether he's right or he's wrong,
he's fucking
the
doing
next
it.
time the next time I hear from this guy, there's going to be a story that comes with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that what the contract was 65-35. 65% profit me, 35% profit him. And then it was a 50-50 loss, which means if we took a loss, 50-50. So
that's
if we
good.
Lost
that's a good
contract.
He
he believes in you.
He believed in me. That's the thing.
Honestly, though, he probably has the money to where, like,
he does.
If you did take the 10K, then he didn't make a fuck.
Dude, I have talked to him about this. I have told him, I was like,
that's a smart motherfucker.
I have said to him, I was like, I literally said, what if I scammed you? Like, what if I took your 10 grand and run?
That's because dropping a bucket.
Oh yeah, and I do want to say, because I didn't say it on air, was that once we signed this contract, the next day, $10,000 showed up in my fucking bank account. 10 G's from a guy.
Mr. Brown. Shout out Mr. Brown.
You could have just walked
Mr.
away.
Pink. Mr. Pink.
Mr. Pink is the investor.
Mr. Brown was the professional who tested me out. Yeah.
Shout out Mr. Pink.
Mr. Pink was the investor.
Yeah. He is the one. He wire transferred me that money. I have never seen that money. Dude, I went to the bank and withdrawed that money. And you talking about a like
now in your mind at that time, are you like, I could just like continue working my 9 to 5?
Oh no.
Oh, you was bought in.
Oh yeah,
at
dude.
that point, plus you probably had a sense of pride, like he fucking put this faith in me. I'm about to prove this motherfucker right.
There is no fucking way that I would have ever taken his money. No way. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what would have happened.
Because you're a good person.
Well, think about what if you did. You would just have had 10 grand and that's it.
Exactly.
You wouldn't be here.
But honestly, if you're gonna take that route, how could you not be superstitious that they're going to come shoot you in your fucking bed at night?
Dude, I was scared. Dude, you know how many
10
people...
grand?
You know how many people... Like, that's one of the things my mom cried about. When I told her I took an investor, she was like, oh, fuck.
You're in the mob.
You're going to end up
right.
Like,
fuck.
Dude,
no.
Like, she thought I was going to end up in a ditch. Like, she straight told me that. Like, you're getting in danger. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm a good judge of character. I was telling her, I was like, I'm a good judge of character. This motherfucker didn't even know my last name.
How many people in the fucking 80s bid on some shit like that? Dude. It was in the mob.
Yeah.
Because that seems very
mob.
Dude, I know.
They're like, hey, man, remember that time we gave you 10 grand? Yeah, we need you to go kill this guy.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. People
we need you to take this fall for 7.
Or we'll just smash your shins in with a baseball bat until you...
We need you to go to jail for 7 years or you're going to die.
This is why it's so crazy. Because people hear this shit. They hear this and they're like, that's fucking crazy. And it is crazy. But I just had such a good judge of character on this guy. He seemed like such a nice, honest guy.
Fuck yeah, dude. And shout out to Mr. Pink.
Dude, Mr.
Fuck
Pink.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Pink.
Dude. If it went for him, dude. And not only that, and later on I met this guy. We'll just keep, we'll call him the same name, Deep Grits, that guy. He really turned into like a huge mentor for me. He brought me in to this life. He's the one who set up that meetup. If it went for him, I never would have met this guy. There's so many
like butterfly layers.
Exactly. There's butterfly effect. But here's the thing. Some people say that's luck. That's the lucky method. No, granted, it is. I agree that it is luck to a certain extent.
But you did work your fucking ass off.
If I never took the risk to buy that forum website, if I never trained for 200 hours on my phone every single fucking night to learn how to do card counting efficiently, I would have failed the test out.
Risked your relationship, risked your your
health. I risked everything
you risked
to
all
make
kinds
sure.
Of things. You risked your job.
Yep.
Quit your job.
Yeah. I risked everything to make sure this would work. And see, people don't want to hear that because it's hard. That's the not sexy shit that you see. You know, everybody wants to just see. They see where you were.
They see the result,
and then where you are now. They don't see what you did to get there. I worked my ass off. There was multiple times.
The lazy motherfucker's gonna hate on how you.
Oh,
got there.
Dude, I'm sure there'll be a lazy motherfucker watching this right now who's like, man, fuck
he just
him.
got lucky.
He got lucky. Or he's still an addicted gambler. He's just still getting lucky, dude. I hear it all still, but there was times where I was going to work. And I would work from 2 a.m. I would wake up early because I wanted to get off by 12. 2 a.m. to 12, I would work 10 hours. I drive my ass up to the casino, work all night, come back home, shower, and go back to work. No sleep.
You got to grind with a passion.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, and that passion is what kept me awake.
If you're going to have a 9 to 5, use that 9 to 5 to fuel your passion.
Yep.
You're looking at it.
It is 100,000%.
Podcast, bro.
And that's why I don't want to get anybody twisted. I didn't have shit handed to me. So I believe you. Anybody can sit there and say, well, you had this guy invest 10 grand. But if I didn't have the skills to get invested 10 grand, I would have failed that test out and he would have invested in me.
Nah, I really believe that because, like I said, me and Bryant have that same passion, but in a different way. You know, in a like we want to kind of express ourselves in a more vocal, podcast,
transparent, raw
version, and have guys like you on who have branched out of the normal traditions of
dude.
You know, standard culture or whatever you want to call it. You know,
so whenever so I know you had the professional test you at the casino. Did you do that with Chris and Steven?
To a certain extent, yeah. I made sure that they knew what they were doing. But thankfully, I have the ability to go with them. So again, freedom of schedule. True, you know, that guy who invested in me and who saw potential in me, he didn't have. You know, he lived all across the fucking U.S. Like he's not from here. That's what I'm saying. Like he is all the way across the U.S.
So it was the only time you were going to get to actually meet him.
Yeah, exactly. So when he came down was the only time I got to meet him. Dude, he took me to my first fancy steakhouse. Like Ruth's Chris.
Oh, it's so fucking
good.
Oh my fucking God. It's so fucking good. I've never had a better steak.
Dude, here's the thing, bro. I hope Steven listens to this. I'm going to tell him to. But Steven, I remember telling him, I was like, man, steaks there, $60, $80, you know, they're expensive. And I told him, and I said, man, I was like, it's $100 tab if you get a drink and a side and a steak. And I was like, it's worth it. He was like, he told me all the time, there ain't no steak, no dinner worth $100.
No fucking clue, dude.
No clue.
Steven, I'm telling you right now.
Dude, hold on.
Oh, you went?
Yeah, we took him. This is the thing. We took him. Me and Chris took him. He got the filet, and he got it cooked medium because I told that motherfucker not to get it cooked medium well.
Medium rare.
Do you like medium rare? So I'm still a medium guy, but I told him, I was like, get it, please cook medium. You know, don't get it cooked any other way. He got it cooked medium. It came out on that 500-degree plate, all that butter and oil, that sear.
Oh my God.
Bro, he cut into that thing.
He was like,
dude, he put it in his mouth, and he was like, oh, dude, we're talking about the first fancy steakhouse, Tom. I was telling him, like, Mr. Pink was the first one who took me to my very first steakhouse.
Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So even he gave me my.
There's no better steak.
Yeah, and I told and like Steven, I was saying Steven, when me and Chris was telling him, dude, it's the best fucking steak you ever have. Like it's worth $100.
I've always heard nothing.
And he told me, nah,
tremendous.
There's no way I pay $100 for a dinner.
Tremendous.
And I was like, you'll see. He went. He took it, bro. He can't stop. Every time we go on a trip, he's like, "You want to go to a steakhouse?"
Who says that?
Steven.
Steven.
And he told me, he's like, "There's no fucking way I'd pay."
Steven Lovely.
Shout out, Steven, dude. Straight up.
That's my boy. Me and him were friends like early on, and then into high school too. Like I love that dude.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
me and him lived together
dude.
3 fucking years.
Such a baller too.
Yeah.
Like basketball. Like I never knew a white dude who could ball like that. Both ACLs went out, but it's okay.
He don't give a damn.
He died for the cause. Yeah, he's that good. Yeah, he's a great baller.
But yeah, like you said, having them, like I've got to spend so much quality time with them, and Chris got to see the losses. So when Chris first started, he got to see the losing.
That's the start.
Yeah, so he got to see a lot of my losses, and he was like, "Oh fuck." Yeah, I get it, but like there's a risk, and of course there's a risk. Dude, anything worth having in this world, there's gonna be a risk. If it's too safe,
we're doing this.
Don't
all of it too.
Dude, straight up,
in your life is worth the risk.
Dude, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be honest, and it's gonna hurt some people's fucking feelings, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If you do not take a risk, you can if you don't take that risky life, that risky thing,
big risk,
and you don't try, you are not gonna get the things that you want in life. Like especially if you have like a bigger thing.
That's
like
fucking spot on.
Because if you just stay safe and you stay with that guarantee and you stay with these things, there's a reason that
you'll retire at 55.
Exactly, we fall in the same pattern. It's not a coincidence that we all work a job for 30 years.
What you're advocating for is that like what's tradition is that you work a 9 to 5 for 20 to 30 years.
Yep.
At 55, if you're lucky enough to have gotten into that job when you're 18 to 20, you're able to retire at 55. Is that shoot for that early.
Of course.
Because
you're healthy.
You're healthier to live that freedom that you get at 55. You can have more fun and capitalize on that freedom, that healthiness, all of those things at an earlier age if you take that gamble. But if I could argue for like the listeners who are working those 9 to 5s who feel a little insulted right now, which I'm sure they do, is that how do you have the time and how do you have the money to pursue those things?
And this
when you have a wife, you have a kid.
Yep. I'm glad you asked this. This is how. Self-accountability is number one. Be honest with yourself. Okay. Sometimes we don't like who we are.
That's true.
It's the truth. But we all know who we are. You can portray yourself in any way to anyone. You can act like nothing bothers you. You can act like you're not an emotional person. You can act like you're happy at your job when you're making good money. But in reality, when we're home by ourselves, when we're in the shower or wherever you get to actually think with
like
your
John
thoughts.
Michael said.
I know.
Dude.
You wipe that fucking steam out the mirror, you look in that same dirt bag.
Exactly. You know who you are. And
mirror.
Sometimes we don't like that. Sometimes we don't like who we are. But you know. And we all know who we are. We all know what we're good at and what we're not good at. And the truth is finding the reason for why you would want to do something. Like if you have a passion for something else, you have to find, there is no, you won't find an excuse to not do it. The whole thing is like, if you just want to do something else or you like, oh, it would be cool to do this. Well, then
that's just a hobby.
Yeah. It's just a hobby.
Then do it
but if you're sitting there going, I'm miserable. Every day of my life, I'm miserable. I can't be the father I want to be. I can't be the friend I want to be. Like the analogy of a plane going down is something I've used for multiple people. When a plane goes down, what's the first thing they say? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been on planes.
Oh, shit.
But the first thing they say is to put on your oxygen mask and then put on your kid's oxygen mask. Because if you're dead,
you can't help
your kid. You have to make sure you are okay first. And if you are not okay, if the whole thing support system is around, let's say you're the only man who works, your wife is a stay-at-home mom, and you're not happy, I'm sorry to say, man, but you're not going to be the father you need to be, the husband you need to be. You're going to be the shell of that person you need to be because you're not happy. And you can fake it for a long time.
It's so weird how people like they'll be in denial about themselves.
They will.
About like how where their life is going, and they're like they won't face certain things because they want to pretend they're not that.
That's
when
what
reality, they are that.
When you're alone,
and they'll just skate on by until death.
Yeah, when you're alone,
time eats them away.
This is what I mean by being alone. When you're alone,
the moment that makes up a dull day. Just keep doing this.
Go ahead.
But when you're alone, you know who. Like again, that you know,
you
do, you truly do. No one has no one's sitting there like laying in their fucking bed thinking about their miserable life, going, I don't fucking know why I'm miserable. I don't know why I'm doing something. I don't know what's going on. But no one wants to be self-accountable. Like if you get in trouble with the law or you get in trouble, it's because of you. It's not because of someone else. It's not because of this person or that person. Take self-accountability and figure out why your life is in a shitty spot. Exactly. But people don't want to do that because it's easy to blame someone else.
Well, do you think that some people, they get to the point to where they take too much accountability to where like they become, obviously like self-harm. They do things to where like they always
think like the stuff is not their fault, it's their fault.
Yeah. That's an issue too.
Like that's what brings me back to like life is balance.
Yeah.
You got to balance that. Like everything is a balance. It's like, drinking 11 beers tonight is probably not a good idea. I probably should drink.
That's the path you're going down.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. I'm on like 6 or 7 right now.
You gotta send it. You're in now.
Yeah, I'm in.
Dude,
I'm riding. The roller coaster's holding on.
It's like if you stop allowing yourself to think why me as opposed to why me in a good term. Like if anything bad happens to you, you get a flat tire on the way to work. Just anything. A lot of people like, oh yeah,
they look for the negative.
They do. They're like, a fucking course I had to take this way and I did this. Dude, there's so much you can sit there and say like, oh, I'm
That's
super.
What I tell
like James,
people.
whenever we had James Glover on the podcast, I refer to this all the time. He said like, there's gonna be a spot in your life where you can either go left or you go right.
Yeah.
If you decide to go left, that's the wrong way.
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? You're gonna sit there and be like, oh, I went left. I'm such an
Dwell.
idiot.
Exactly.
You're gonna dwell on that, or you're just gonna not go left next time. Just go right next time.
Yep.
Yes.
It's important, but it's hard. It's hard for these people. It's hard for anybody, dude. Again, I had the same mindset.
These people.
Like, what do you mean?
What do you mean, you people?
But it's like again, 2 years ago, I was in the same spot. Everything that happened bad in my life, it was someone else's fault. It was never my fault. I never took self accountability for the position I'm in. I never made it a point to where it's like, oh, this is on me.
Right.
I always blame someone else for my shortcomings.
Which is a tendency that I've found in a lot of people.
It is.
They don't take accountability.
No.
They just deflect and judge other people.
It's because it's easy. It is so easy to judge. And dude, I get judged. Dude, again, I've gotten judged and misconstrued and like disappointed so many people in my life, especially with this gambling shit. When I quit my job, the for sure thing, the retirement, the pension, dude, that pension was like really good too. It's like $700,000 when you retire.
Fuck that shit.
I was like, that's not worth 30 years of my life. I get one life. 30 years.
I love this view.
You're telling me
This just firing me the fuck up.
Yeah,
and like this whole time I've been trying not to like, think to I've been really trying to soak in because I'm 23 and I'm in your exact shoes.
Yeah.
Or
You're
where
6
you
years
were.
younger than me.
I'm 23 years old, and I'm just trying to soak in all the fucking shit you're saying.
I didn't have this mentality till 27. It took me till 27 to figure out this mentality.
It took me a while. It took me until we had this podcast to be
I would say, that's
you know what, man? Like, because before we started this podcast, I wasn't someone who was very active on social media. I was very happy. I was very a private person.
Mm-hmm.
I never really wanted to get into.
It helps us express ourselves so much.
Yeah,
I
and
feel
then
like.
when we started, I had this like weird energy about myself, kind of off camera that I never really expressed on camera. Of like when I was kind of scared to start this podcast because I was so scared of like just people coming up to me and giving me the attention of the podcast, whether it was negative or positive.
Right.
I didn't care if it was negative or positive. I just didn't want the attention altogether. Like I just didn't want any attention because that's who I am. I don't like a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a fucking podcast.
But it was
still doesn't feel real sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird because
I'm sure you can relate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, you're like you do something that's like, man, this is not who.
Dude.
This is not me. Like,
yeah, dude.
I've grown up for 28 years that you say you did.
Yeah.
And you start gambling. You start living this high-end lifestyle. You're like, whoa,
dude. It's
what the fuck
sometimes
is going on right now,
dude. There has been wins where I win an absurd amount of money, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this is retarded. Like, this is stupid. Like this is so stupid because like there's been times like there's been months where I win someone's yearly salary. I mean, a month of just grinding my ass off. Don't get me wrong, I worked hard. So I don't want to just be like, oh, I worked one day and I got all this money. No. Like there's been a month where I worked 28 days out of 30 in a casino. 28 days out of 30 days I was in a casino.
And that's gotta have people kind of reflect on your like some kind of like not reflect, but some kind of like issue on your personal life too, as far as like
also like you said earlier was like people want to see all the rainbows and sunshine that you're seeing now. They don't want to see you fucking spending all your tax money to do this shit and you working,
taking that risk.
getting off of work, going fucking working in the casino, coming back, going to work. Your girlfriend's like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Like you're about to, and your mental health is suffering, but you're fucking grind. They don't want to see that shit.
No.
Or you're probably in the hotel like about to break down because you need fucking
dude. I've been on the verge like that. That's what I've been on the verge of tears by myself.
Yeah,
and dude, it wasn't even a bad night. I won fucking thousands of dollars, and I'm sitting there, dude. And it's literally like it reminds me of Zombieland. It reminds me of Zombieland where they're playing Monopoly.
But then you're drying them up because you got to save it.
Like, but that's why I mean like money.
Deposit this later.
Fuck, man.
No, but that's just what I mean. Like that, like I
People
know
want to see that.
It's easier to say. It's easier to say. I know when you have money, but the thing is that it's true. It is
a bunch of fucking haters,
dude. Exactly. It's
so
the ultimate
many
truth,
haters.
dude. People don't give a fuck. They do. People hate. Like, and then I do this. Like, I'm sure there's people out there who are literally fucking haters. Like, this motherfucker.
Lying motherfucker. He's just lucky.
He's lying. Dude,
his luck run out.
Dude, the amount of times I've been called a liar, the amount of times I've been said, this shit don't work. Yeah, dude. Oh, that shit's still bullshit. You know what I mean? That's just still bullshit. You know? Dude, I've had it all. I was told I was going to lose my house when I got to quit because I bought the house in 2019. So I got told, oh, you're going to be sorry when you lose your house. You know? Don't be coming back when you lose your house.
Do you keep in contact with anybody at your last job?
I do. 2 people.
And do you like, What's up, bitches?
They're actually very like. So the two people I keep in contact with, they're very happy for me.
Good.
But the people that said they were going to keep in contact with me and don't answer my calls or nothing,
do they have any interest?
Know.
The two that you still talk to, they have any interest in?
Yeah, they've asked, and I've been honest with them. I try to be honest with everyone. I don't sugarcoat much. I
like
really,
that, yeah.
I really like to tell you, like, hey, like, I'm sorry, but you probably need a job. Like, you probably need a boss to tell you to get up. If not,
I know a few people like that.
You won't do shit. And there's something to be said about that. Again, this is where it all comes down to self accountability and self awareness. You have to know who you are. Sometimes you don't know who you are, and you got to try shit, and you got to figure it out. But there's people out there that I could show how to do this. They could learn how to do it. They can start making money. And then they get complacent, and then they get lazy, and then they don't go to work anymore. And then what happens? You know what I mean?
You got to say dedicated to the grind.
Exactly. So I work very few hours per week now. You know what I mean?
How many hours do you work a week?
On average? Like right now?
8 hours?
So everything is tracked. So I have a track right now. So it's May, and everything's on Excel. So I have a yearly. And so I right now on Excel, I have how much I've made per year, or how much I made this year, rather, how much I've made per hour, and then how many hours I've worked. And on average, for this year, I've worked 7 hours a week. But with that being said, there's some weeks I don't work.
I love how I didn't even want to say it.
Yeah, like it's kind of bullshit, because like the amount of money I've made this year is substantial compared to like what you like.
So like, and how excited are you looking forward to the future of how like?
Oh, dude, it's exciting. The future of advantage play is just gonna get brighter. I mean, people have said since the 70s that advantage play is gonna go away. The reason casinos will never take out everything
because they're still winning.
It's because they're still winning, and because if you're a 99% card counter, the casino's gonna take your money. You have to be 100%.
Yeah.
There is no room for error. There is no room for error. The casino knows if you're good or not. They know.
And when you say there's no room for error, I feel like that means that it's really hard. Because the casino is set up to be really hard to take their money.
It is.
Is it really that hard to do what you do?
Not in dumb places. Not in dumb places.
So you're saying like the South, or like what do you mean by dumb places?
Okay, don't go to Vegas. Like, don't go to Vegas.
I'm
going to be honest with you.
Why not?
Vegas is the worst place. They're sharp as fuck, and they all communicate. They will find you very quick. There is some good games in Vegas. You can get away with it.
Yeah, but have you ever seen Hangover?
I have.
Yeah, they did it in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, that's dude, I mean, that's a documentary. So
yeah, right? Yeah, that's so truthful.
Yeah, no, so like there is some truth to that kind of stuff. Team play, it's a lot harder for them to catch on because you're not the one betting big, like a spotter, big player thing. You can do it. It's just very hard to get a lot of people on board with it, and you got to be at multiple tables. But when you're a solo card counter, you want to stick to places in the middle of nowhere. You don't want to be in places this high population and stuff. The reason why is because those casinos are trained and conditioned to find you quick because they don't want you to take their money.
Yeah.
But there's also casinos out there in the South that you'll play. They know your card counter in 15 minutes. They'll let you play because they know variance. They know that you can lose. Again, I've lost $6,000.
They're like, we'll see how good this guy is.
Exactly.
Like, I like that's fun. That's a fun little game.
Like, okay, it's just like when like the Super Bowl happens. It's like, okay, it's time. Like let's see.
Yep.
Like we're playing for real. Let's see if our system can
regular spots.
We'll see if our system can beat their system.
Yeah, I have regular spots, but they're slowly deteriorating because they're finding me out too quick. They're remembering me from last time.
Right.
And so it's becoming an issue. So I have to find new places, and I have to go new places. And
Sorry, is that why you're so excited about a new casino opening
up? You get to act. You get to be whoever you want to be. That is the one thing that's true in the movie 21 is you get to reinvent yourself. You can be whoever. You can be this big boss who owns a fucking crypto company. You can be whatever you want. You can dress up in a suit. You can do whatever you want.
Do you go in character every time? Because I feel like you're about to start doing it.
So not necessarily character, but I do like.
Because I would.
You just said
I would lean into.
Yeah. So like.
Howdy ho, partners.
That's
how I would be.
So I'm getting ready for the dying hair thing because I'm going back to a place where I got found out
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's the reason. But like, you can be whoever you want to be, and it's almost exciting for me because, like I love Jim Carrey. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, and he's so goofy.
Right.
And he always, like, every role that he's played, he's always played
amazing.
like a goofy and like
So good.
funny guy.
You ever seen
And so,
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
if you're a Jim Carrey fan, that you have
So
to see
good.
that
yeah,
movie.
dude. Jim Carrey was so fun. Like all the like fucking Pet Detective or Pet
Yeah.
Adventures
Oh
or
my
whatever.
God, they're
Ace
fucking
Adventure.
Yeah, Ace Ventura.
Yeah, Ace Adventure.
Yeah,
But
myself,
yeah,
Irene.
dude. Yeah,
all
man.
that shit,
Just
The
so
Mask.
funny. Like, yeah, playing two different characters in one. I mean, he's just so talented. And I love him. And like growing up, I watched Liar Liar 1,000
Liar,
times.
Liar was so good.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
so good.
and
The pen is blue.
dude, yeah, the
What is it?
goddamn
Yeah.
pen is blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just, you get to reinvent yourself. And every time I go, since I have such a, I guess you would call like a extroverted personality, it doesn't affect me too much as far as like talking to pit bosses and stuff. Because this is the thing, man. I'll be sitting there playing and like I have my feet up.
They'll try to like bow you up too. Like,
Dude, they will.
like,
A lot of they
yeah.
test you.
Flex-
That's what they
flex on
do.
you. Yeah, they try
they
to flex
test
on
you. So they don't count on the floor. Again, it's not old school. Like they're not sitting there like the pit bosses aren't like counting. They can't fucking count cards. So they're sitting there. They'll act like they are. They'll act like they're giving you heat, but it's all upstairs. The cameras, they have
Right.
software in the surveillance room that counts you down, and then all they do is rewind the tape and then see if your bets correlate with the count.
And I'm sure somebody comes to whoever owns the bar, who's up top, and
Right.
says,
Oh yeah,
okay, yeah, you know, so and so, you know, Brett Meece or Alex Meece
Yeah.
is here
yeah.
to, you know, who is on the list.
Yeah.
You know, the quote unquote list.
Yeah.
So let's keep a little extra eyes on him.
Yeah.
That's why you need to come in with a Fu Manchu and a cowboy hat.
Dude, they call it doing a check. That's what it's called. They check. They do a check on you. And what they do, I remember this one place I played, and I never play with ID. I never give my ID to anyone.
So when you walk into the casino, you don't have to have an ID. Or do you need to
Not
have
in
an
a sense. So some casinos scan your ID at the door.
ID? Okay, so I guarantee you that
But-
sends it to up top.
They do, but
To
they
let
but
whoever know up top that this is who's here.
that's true. But what they do is they get it, and they see so many people. They don't get checked by everybody, so they don't even know who you are or what you're doing until you go sit at the table. So
Oh,
if I go
okay.
scan my ID at Cherokee, they're not gonna have any fucking clue what I'm doing there. They're just gonna know that, hey, I'm there, but they don't even portray my life.
But
Or like
doesn't
nothing.
that tell them, like, hey, he's here
If they have my name already like in a
on a list,
in a
which I'm
database.
sure you're on that list.
Like a database is one of the hardest things to not get in. But when you're in a database, it's one of the hardest times not to play anymore. Because when you're not playing with ID, when you're not playing with a player's card, which is like those player's cards they give you and you generate points, they
like
give
your
you free.
story with Allen Iverson.
yeah.
Yeah, let's talk
There you
about
go.
that.
Yeah. When'd you hear about that?
You told me.
Oh, I did. Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
Yeah,
did
what
he
a-
tell you or did I tell you?
Wait, he told me. I was in the
Okay.
chat.
Yeah, he was an
Oh,
asshole.
really?
No, I think you might have
No,
told me.
I told you.
actually.
Yeah, it was
Maybe.
me and Noah that was in the chat.
Yeah, I don't think I
that
was
guy-
in there, yeah.
That guy wasn't cool. But anyways,
That guy wasn't cool.
Yeah, dude, I went and asked him for an autograph. He didn't even look up from his fucking
He said
phone.
you gotta talk to my
Yeah, like what the
bodyguard.
fuck? Like he didn't even talk to me. He just like pointed at him. I was like,
Wow.
the fuck? But anyways, yeah, it's so much of where the fuck are we going?
What time do you have to leave?
4:30.
Okay, it's 4:28 right now.
Oh shit.
Well, I don't have to leave until 5.
Okay,
but
okay,
4:30 is
cool.
my it's time to go.
Okay,
I'm gonna wrap
okay.
this up.
Okay.
But yeah, I've always when he told me about the Allen Iverson situation, I thought that was
Dude.
pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
like what the fuck? Oh, the player's card thing. That's where I was going.
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Oh yeah, when you don't play with a player's card, the casino already looks at you like, why don't you want free shit? Why don't you want our free stuff?
So player's card, they throw free shit at you.
Exactly.
okay,
Yeah,
that makes
That's
sense.
why, because your ID's connected to that player's card, which means if you're not giving your name, why aren't you giving your name? You know what I mean? Because they want to give you stuff, and of course they want to give you stuff so you can come back and lose more money. But I play with no card because I don't need their free shit. I can buy my own shit.
He's balling.
Yeah, I don't need
son.
your shit. You know what I mean?
Big
I'm here to
balls.
take your money. I
Big
don't need your
sack.
free room.
I'm gonna take your shit,
Yeah.
and then buy
Yeah.
your shit.
Exactly. I don't need your free room. I don't need your free food. I don't
Yeah,
need
right.
that. You're not giving
It's
me
so funny how they try
Yeah.
to be intimidating, with
dude.
you.
Oh my god, bro.
Like,
You-
what's
yeah.
up, dude?
Yeah.
You gotta quit counting these
Like,
cards.
yeah. Do you think, do you think you're intimidating me, brother? I've been doing this for a long time. Do you really think like
You're
you're
on 31? Was that what it was?
Huh?
31 casinos?
31? Yeah.
31 times.
But yeah, 31
Yeah,
times. So it's been
31
like 3
times.
times
Sorry,
in one
yeah.
casino.
Yeah.
Yeah. People. I've been through a lot of it, and I've been through those times where they tried to make themselves way more serious than they are. The one in Biloxi, actually Biloxi, Mississippi. I was down there and I was playing, and I was playing. I was completely fine. You know, I finished up the session. I lost like $150. I wound up losing on the session, and I went and cashed out. And the cops, the actual police, came to me, and I was like, "Oh fuck." You know, because once it's actually police, it's a different story.
Yeah, it's like, oh, shit, I'm gonna be going to jail.
So he can't. Well, not jail, because you're only detained if you are cheating. Card counting's not cheating. Card counting's using your brain.
It's just being smart. Yeah.
You ever play chess?
Yes.
You play chess.
Love
What
chess.
do you do on chess? You think of what them people are gonna do and move like 5 moves later. You know what I mean?
You're just
are
ahead of them.
up.
You're ahead of them in the chess game, and they're mad about it.
Yeah, everything you're doing is legal.
It's same as that thing as card counting. You are literally betting and doing things to help yourself in the future. And I remember this one time he came up to me. He was like, "When do you see your ID?" It was a police officer, and I was like, "Fuck." And I was like, I know you're a cop, you know. And I was talking to him like just like this. I was real chill. I don't get nervous very much anymore. But I was like, "Hey, can you not tell my name to the casino? Because I don't want them to know who I am. Because they don't know who I am. When they back me off and stuff, they just say, 'Sir.' They don't know my name." Cherokee did, because I've been there so much, and I played with the card because I was naive and dumb. But
couldn't they just check like where you got scanned in?
They can, yeah. So a lot of these places like I said,
like
only
first
some.
or second time they don't like really know you.
Exactly.
They just try to throw you
You
out.
said only some places scan you.
Yeah,
in?
only some. Not all casinos. Like Oklahoma, you just walk in. There's no scanner. There's nobody to check. You just walk in.
That's nice.
Bunch of dumb people out there.
Exactly. So, but no. So I went there and I was like, "Hey, can you not share my name with the casino?" And he was like, "Okay." And then I thought he said my name to the casino. He was saying it to his other police officer. They thought that I was somebody else that actually got caught for cheating, which is dealer collusion. And that's a whole nother step. That's actual cheating. That's actual like federal prison shit. When you're colluding with a dealer, like let's say you got a job at
hey, let me give you like $300 and then I'll win this round or something. Is that what you mean?
It's not like that. It's like if I give you, like, let's say you get a job, right? And I'm like, "Hey man, like let's collude," and I'm like, "Show me your bottom card." You know what I mean?
And I'll
like
pay you out.
If you knew the full amount that the dealer had, well, now you have all the advantage because you know exactly what they have.
Yeah.
That's why you only get to see the top card, by the way. Is because you have to act first. That's where the casino gets their advantage over you. It's because you have to act first before they do. So that's why there's a set of rules that you follow.
They're basing it off of like stupidity. Like,
exactly.
They think that like you're not going to be able to make the first move. So
exactly.
We'll put it on you.
Yeah, and they'll tell you to make a move, and then some people have superstitions, gambler fallacy,
right?
Where they make up all this shit, and then they decide to, I'm going to do this, and then then the casino wins, and then I've heard like so much shit at the table. I've been called a dumb fuck at the table. Like I've been called like by other gamblers.
Yeah,
because they don't know how to play. The thing is like there's a set of rules. That's what I mean by black and white. There's a set of rules, and it's black and white. You either do what's right or you don't. There is no gray. There is a right way to do it. It's wrong way. Yeah,
fucking mathematics.
Chart.
Dude.
I love this shit.
And you know how many gamblers have systems? So that's why nobody believes what I do. And honestly, to be fair, I don't care. Like I would rather people not believe what I do and never get into this, rather than believe what I'm saying and then go lose their money. I don't want people to lose their money.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, it's been fun. It's been fun. I wish we could go a little bit
I
longer
know,
because it's
dude.
been so
It's
much.
been so fun.
It happens
is,
so
man.
fast, dude. One thing I've learned about this podcast is that you get roped in so fast,
for
and
sure.
the time flies, and you want to just hang out for another.
Yeah.
We kind of learned that one with John Michael podcast.
Yeah, dude.
It was like 6 hours
Yeah,
long.
it
We're
was a
like,
long one.
dude,
I was so
oh,
hungry.
man.
I was like, "Hey, y'all want to stop this? I can go eat.
We're like,
watch UFC
shut up,
fights."
shut
Yeah.
up. We're gonna watch these
I was
UFC
like,
fights.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
dude, it was so fun, man. But if I had to leave anybody with anything, man, it would really just be whatever you want to do, like whatever it is, martial arts, or you want to create your own business, or you want to do something that's out of the norm. Understand, you're not going to have everybody to support you. Most people are going to be traditional and tell you you can't do it. They're going to say stay at your job because it's a for sure thing. You have a retirement. Work, you have to put your time in. All these blue collar things I grew up from as well. That's what many people don't understand is I was there. I was there.
And that's why this podcast is the Brew Collar
Dude,
Podcast.
exactly.
That's us.
I had
That's all of us.
I had the part where I got no fucking support from no one. And I had to sit there and go, I can fucking do it. I don't care what you say. I'm going to do it. And I did it. And now I hear him 2 years later, happier than ever. being able to support being able to bring my friends into this and show them, hey, there's a different way out. Like, you don't have to stay at your fucking job that you're at.
Little old Williamston.
Yeah,
little old Palmetto.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you looking for new recruits?
Dude, that's the thing about this whole gambling thing is,
because I'm going to have people reach out to me that are interested.
Yeah, dude, the biggest thing I can say is, if you're interested in doing what I do, look up that YouTube channel. And again, I'll put it on here. I don't know if you guys put it in show notes or not. Blackjack Apprenticeship. Look that up, and their very first video is how to count cards. Look at that video and see if it's even anything you might like. You might not like it.
Okay.
When I got them involved, I told them, hey, you might not like this, but see if you like it. Because the thing is you shouldn't do it for the money. You should do it for the freedom. So if you don't like what you're doing at your job,
it's more American than that.
Yeah.
Do it for the fucking freedom, son.
Dude. It's like the fucking, eagle.
Pew,
America.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking shooting guns, putting on sunglasses.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like if you're not, I just don't want anybody to do this for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Because the money's good, but the money should be a byproduct. It should be freedom. It should be getting to do what you want to do. This life has created a life for me to do whatever I want to outside of this bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I get to do whatever I want to, whether it be fucking sit in my boxers all day and play video games.
And fucking fart.
Yeah, and fucking do whatever. Or if I want to get up and go to work, it don't matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's allowed me to do that, and I do whatever I want every single day. For the last 2 years, I've done what I want every single day. No one said anything else.
That's
and if anybody's
amazing.
not happy with it, fuck you. I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just doing what's making me happy. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful.
Cheers to that shit, man.
Cheers to that
Yeah,
shit.
dude.
Alex,
thank you for coming on.
It's been
man.
amazing
Dude,
to have
it's
you
been
on.
so fun.
And we'll have you on again.
Yeah, dude. I hope so in the
We love
future,
To
man.
check
It's so
in.
fun.
We
Yeah,
definitely will.
Yeah, dude. What if like in the future I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, man, I got another fucking job. That shit turns out it don't work, bro.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I hope that does not happen.
No, it won't, dude. Hey, like I said earlier in the podcast, mark my words, never again. There will be never.
I fucking love it.
Again,
Mark
where I
the
work a
tape.
job. Mark it,
love it.
dude.
Mark the
Fucking
tape.
mark it.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah,
It's been a
cheers,
good
man.
podcast.
It's been amazing. We're excited to have your brother on in the future,
I can't wait.
which will be
That'd be fucking
I can't
rowdy.
wait.
That'd be
Yeah.
good.
If you made it this far, please like and subscribe.
drop a like and
please,
subscribe, man.
Please, it helps us out. We're excited to be here, and Alex, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Fuck yeah, man. See you guys.
See you guys. Love you guys.
Have a good one.